military has continued carrying out airstrikes and ground operations.
Voters in Georgia have chosen to replace Marjorie Taylor Greene with a prosecutor endorsed by the president. Republican Clay Fuller has beaten Democrat Sean Harris in a runoff for Greene's congressional seat. Here's Fuller.
The Democrat Party poured millions of dollars into this campaign, poured lies into this campaign, but they can't beat Donald Trump, and they never will.
Two young men who allegedly ignited homemade bombs near New York's Gracie Mansion have been formally charged.
The 8-count indictment released last night charges 19-year-old Ibrahim Qayyumi and 18-year-old Amir Bolat with conspiring to use a weapon of mass destruction and providing material support to ISIS. Prosecutors say the pair had hoped their bomb would kill 60 people during an anti-Muslim demonstration outside the mayor's residence last month. One of the suspects was allegedly recorded on a dash cam video saying he wanted to start terror and petrify people. Their bombs did not go off. No one was injured. Michael Wallace, CBS News, New York.
An American car maker is reportedly looking for relief from a taxing situation, but so far, no go. Here's WWJ's Jeff Gilbert from Detroit.
Ford has had to temporarily import a lot of aluminum due to a fire at a domestic supplier. The Wall Street Journal says its requests for temporary relief have fallen on deaf ears. Ford uses far more aluminum than other car makers. The supplier fire has already cost it $2 billion.
National average for a gallon of gas today, $4.16. Dow futures up more than 12.
On CBS Sunday Morning.
It is 6:03, and right now we've got cloudy skies, 44 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. A Seneca, Missouri man is under arrest in connection with a missing person and child sexual abuse material. Last week, Missouri Highway Patrol received a tip about a missing Pennsylvania juvenile who was possibly traveling on I-44 in Laclede County. This was part of a larger investigation involving the FBI. A trooper made a traffic stop in Conway, Missouri, and found a juvenile being accompanied by the suspect, 18-year-old Michael Colchado. He was charged on Saturday with 3 counts of possession of child pornography and is being held in Laclede County without bail.
A preliminary report from the National Transportation Safety Board reveals new information on the fatal plane crash at Spirit of St. Louis Airport last month. The findings reveal the plane took off just before 12:21 in the morning and crashed at 12:23, just over 2 minutes following departure. When the plane departed, according to the report, it entered a modified right traffic pattern. During that flight, the plane's altitude fluctuated. Both possible signs that the aircraft struggled to climb and maintain altitude while the pilot may have been troubleshooting an issue, or the pilot quickly attempted to return to the ground. The pilot, 65-year-old Edward Rubeck of Spanish Lake, died in that crash.
The Illinois bomb squad has returned to the scene of a house explosion in Troy yesterday.
Multiple controlled explosions have been set off by the Illinois bomb squad at a Troy property where a house explosion killed 3 and injured another late Sunday evening. Now, no cause to this explosion has been given so far, but there is a large presence of first responders at the property, including the Madison County Sheriff's Department, the Troy Fire Department, as I mentioned, the Illinois Bomb Squad, and the St. Charles County Police Department. Yes, St. Charles County, Missouri. Their canine unit is here on the scene as well. In Troy, Illinois, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Also, finding common ground and solutions for the good of the people is more of a slogan than a reality in St. Louis County. Once again, the council and the county executive cannot agree on who is at fault when it comes to jobs and departments not being funded for this upcoming budget.
At this point, it seems as though they can find no common ground, only making snide comments and barbs at one another. Councilman Mark Harder.
For the past 5 years, the CE's feckless management of budgets and resources has brought us to this difficult moment in St. Louis County history. We cannot keep repeating the same mistakes and expecting a different outcome.
Harder says the county's government has become too expensive to operate. The question now is, what does that mean for residents and workers?
I am fed up with the attitude of mediocrity of this administration, from phones not getting answered, people who can't make a decision to save a life, expensive software that doesn't work, new police precinct buildings that don't function properly, to frivolous lawsuits and poorly executed purchasing contracts, to name a few.
County Executive Dr. Sam Page says the council only looked at spending through September of last year and did not consider spending adjustments in September, October, November, or December of 2025 when they made budget cuts. Page is praising the council's budget coordinator, though, for stepping up to acknowledge he made mistakes.
As a result of those admissions, my office sent a letter to the county council on Friday requesting several supplemental appropriations to remedy these errors and allow the county departments to continue to function without any more service interruptions for the rest of 2026.
Page says without additional funding, county departments will be forced to lay off employees and furloughs will need to be implemented starting in May and intermittently through the rest of the
It
year.
will certainly cause some government services to be reduced in St. Louis County, and some of them may actually come to a standstill.
Even with that dire warning, it does not seem to be breaking the standoff between the council and executive. Maria Aquino, KMOX News.
From the KMOX Business Desk, the Cambridge Heights apartment complex just north of downtown St. Louis is owned by the St. Louis Housing Authority, but its operator has defaulted on millions of dollars in debt and let the property deteriorate. That's according to a motion filed by the Missouri Housing Development Commission, which is asking a St. Louis judge for a receiver to be appointed. The operator has reportedly acknowledged it can no longer manage the property or meet its financial obligations, according to the Business Journal.
Dozens of units in the Cambridge Heights apartment complex in Columbus Square have mold infestation. There are widespread vacancies and vandalism throughout the complex, according to this motion. Those apartments were built in part with a $20 million federal grant after the Department of Housing and Urban Development ordered another 500-unit development there torn down.
Looking pretty good on the road so far. We'll check in with Roger Brand, see what he sees next at 6:08.
Many times, a person hires a law firm after an injury without doing research. It can be a big mistake or not. Sometimes, after you have hired a certain lawyer, you realize you made a certain mistake. But guess what? Just because you hired them doesn't mean you can't fire them. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you think you've hired the wrong firm, you may have. So do this. Google Morgan & Morgan results or visit forthepeople.com for cases just like yours. You may find that our full-service injury firm should have been your choice in the first place. Last year, almost 12,000 people discharged their law firm and hired us after further research. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. Visit forthepeople.com today and let's get started. Or call Pound Law on your cell phone. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I've been burned before. I was just repeating the same patterns. It turns out I had a type.
Workplaces everywhere are looking for love. And by love, we mean the easy way to order food at work. Easy Cater.
I thought ordering from great restaurants at work had to be complicated, but then I met Easy Cater. So many options, so flexible, and when I ordered for 50 gluten-free vegans without going over budget, I knew I'd found the platform I wanted to do life and lunch with.
Fall in love with Easy Cater. Start an order at easycater.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 6:10. Let's find out if there's anything going on your ride in that may cause you some issues. Roger Brand is keeping his eye on things from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, 21 at Old 21 at the Goldman Interchange. We have an incident reported. They're sending EMS for Debbie, so just pay attention if you're in that area. But interstate-wise, not bad. We just have that little bit of a roadwork slowdown eastbound 70, just immediately east of 47 in Warrenton. And then I talked about this. They call it a minor crash. I really can't see the vehicle itself, but I can see the flashing lights. It's southbound 170 at 70. But now that they're out there, I can tell you it's in the left lane, so it's at the ramp and it looks like the ramp may be shut down. It's South 170 at the ramp to get onto eastbound 70, so just be advised, there is beginning to get a bit of a backup there. The ramp may be closed. I just can't tell from my vantage point, but it looks like the left lane approaching it certainly is. So that's the only incident we have going on the interstates right now. Otherwise, we're good to go on both sides of the river. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Hey, St. Louis, need to sell your home fast? The Gelman team with eXp Realty can make you an instant cash offer in just 24 hours. No showings, no repairs, no waiting. Visit thegelmanteam.com or give them a call at 314-336-1991.
A nice day today with a mix of sun and clouds. It'll become breezy and noticeably warmer. The high rebounds to 78. Partly cloudy and rather breezy tonight, though just 59. Sunshine and some clouds tomorrow. A warm breeze for the afternoon, high 82. Friday will be cloudy and cooler with a couple of showers. There might be a thunderstorm in spots as well. The high Friday, 67. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's 44 in Florissant, 44 in St. Peters, and cloudy and 44 downtown at the Arch.
It is 6:12. Voter turnout in the city of St. Louis was very low yesterday with just one issue on the ballot, and that was Proposition E, whether to extend the 1% earnings tax. And voters overwhelmingly said yes, with 86% of the vote. Only fewer than 1,700 people showed up at the polls.
St. Charles County voters rejected Proposition RT by a fairly large margin. The measure to extend property tax relief beyond just seniors was rejected 59 to 41%. Currently, 26,000 seniors get a property tax freeze. This measure would have made another 73,000 eligible, but there was pushback from business officials and others who said the revenue loss would impact schools, fire and ambulance, developmental disability services, and more. Meanwhile, the same property tax cap proposal passed in Jefferson and Franklin counties.
A mixed bag yesterday at the polls for 31 fire protection and ambulance districts in St. Louis and St. Charles counties that were seeking a 1% sales tax increase. About 60% of them passed, including Afton, Florissant Valley, Maryland Heights, and Spanish Lake. In St. Charles County, many of those sales tax measures failed, including the St. Charles County Ambulance District, Cottleville, Lake St. Louis, O'Fallon, and Wentzville.
Missouri voters will decide in November whether to eliminate the state income tax. Dave Drebus with the Missouri Scout notes the business community isn't getting behind this proposal.
I think it's because it's not necessarily a tax cut. It's a tax shift.
The income tax makes up 2/3 of the state's revenue. Drebus says the amendment would allow the state to expand sales taxes to not just goods, but services.
3 bills have been signed into law in Missouri. Alyssa Nelson was at yesterday's bill signings.
Governor Mike Kehoe has signed a bill that will allow women to finalize their divorce while pregnant. The bill is sponsored by Dittmer Representative Cecily Williams, who survived domestic violence while pregnant about 20 years ago.
This was my first priority, was changing this and making sure that I helped be a voice for those who also were silenced by domestic violence. I was silenced by domestic violence, and so I speak now for those who still are.
The governor also signed bills that aim to fight sex trafficking and change Missouri's penalties against juveniles who commit certain crimes. From the state capitol, Elisa Nelson, Missouri Net.
With Ricky Horton, I'm John Rooney. It came down to the last batter, a 1-run lead for the Cardinals in the 10th inning. Ricky Horton.
2 strikes, 2 outs. Tying run at third base. O'Brien, the pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Save number 3 for Riley O'Brien. And the Cardinals win a terrific game here at Nationals Park in Washington to even the series. They win it in 10 by a score of 7-6.
What a finish, Ricky.
Great finish. So many good moments. Nathan Church, a big home run late. J.J. Weatherholt, a big hit with 2 outs in the top of the 10th.
And Jordan Walker hit another home run. The Cardinals go for the series win behind Michael McGreevy against Miles Michaelis today, and we're on the air at 2:10 after a 7-6 10-inning win last night.
Let's go to the manager's office, Ollie Marmol.
That's a good one. That's a good there's a lot going on in that game. And we had guys down, so we knew we were going to have to finish and give some opportunity to other guys to come in there and do their job. But it was a lot going on. Church to 2-run homer there. Walker hits another one. Saggy being able to drive in and switch places there with that double and the 10th. I mean, just a lot of positives from that game. Soriano to go back out for that second inning and do what he did, man. His stuff was electric. Good changeup, good slider, fastball, definitely plays. So overall, that's a heck of a win.
You talk about the relentless nature of your young team. I think it was evident in all facets of the game tonight. They get down, they don't panic, and they just play with youthful abandon.
Yeah, they're committed to it. If there's one thing we're going to do, it's going to be that. They're not going to give in. They're going to play hard regardless of score situation, man. And I'm proud of these dudes for continuing to do that. And you lose a game like yesterday, and to come back and have energy and to come back again is just, man, it says a lot about the group. So definitely proud of it.
JJ, first pitch swing, rocket shot in extra innings. Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big swing. We needed to add on there, and he comes through with 2 outs. But that's different guys stepping up, man. So I'm just, yeah, that's a really good one.
And Riley O'Brien nailed it down for you.
Yeah, hit the first guy, then settled in and did his job. 2 punch outs there. This is a group across the way, man. They take some pretty good at-bats. They put it in play. They do a nice job. But we took advantage of some walks today, and we were able to come up with big hits when needed.
And thanks to Chip Carey and Cardinals TV for that interview. Ollie Marmol, the Cardinals manager, victorious as the Cardinals do it again in comeback fashion. They get the win over the Washington Nationals. The Blues lost. Final score was 3-1 at home to the Colorado Avalanche. And with that, they are now 6 points out of a playoff spot with 5 games to go. We also are watching the Battlehawks, but they fell 31-15 to the Renegades.
For them. And it literally is the only thing Augusta National can't control about the golf course. And this year, like I said, they will have absolute control, and people will see it in its full glory.
That is Dan Reardon, the KMOX senior golf editor, on tomorrow's opening round of the Masters.
You know, there's a part of the Masters that doesn't have anything to do with golf. It's the beauty of the facility. You know, I refer to Augusta National as golf's cathedral, and I say that out of respect for the origins of golf at St. Andrews. But St. Andrews is not a cathedral. It's very much a pasture. But Augusta National has all the feelings of a cathedral.
And Reardon will be there for us again. The favorite is Scotty Scheffler. Rory McIlroy is trying to win it in back-to-back years. I'm Tom Ackerman. The Redbird Report was sponsored by Restoration One of Greater St. Louis.
Do you ever feel like people are mumbling more than they used to? Or maybe conversations at restaurants and family gatherings have gotten harder to follow? If this sounds familiar, it might be time to learn more about your hearing. That's why we're inviting you to a special lunch and learn at the Audiology Center. This event is on April 29th for various time slots. It's a relaxed and friendly gathering where our certified audiologists will talk about hearing and hearing loss, answer your questions, and share how today's hearing aids can help you connect with the moments that matter most. Hearing loss often happens slowly, and many people don't realize how much they're missing. It's important to know how untreated hearing loss can negatively affect you in the long term. It's a no-pressure event, just good conversation and good information, and lunch is on us. Seats are limited, so please call 636-441-7470 to reserve your spot for our free lunch and learn at the Audiology Center on April 29th. Take the first step towards hearing more clearly.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about Burn Balance Complex. It's the latest tool available at supplement superstores to get you moving down the path you want to when it comes to being in great shape. This is not a fat burner. It is a complete metabolism system. It's Burn Balance Edge for the guys, Burn Balance Zen for the ladies. So make sure you ask for the right one when you go in. But what this does is makes your body work the right way. So what I've noticed in a short amount of time so far, metabolism is great. I mean, you're starting to feel, in fact, I can feel it. Shirts are fitting a little looser. The belt pulls a little tighter. And on top of that metabolism boost, you're also getting some reductions in stress and cortisol levels. You're getting appetite control, craving control throughout the day, all day focused energy with no jitters and crash. And look, it isn't magic. You need to do the work. But I'll tell you this, it's a good assistant. It helps a lot to make the right decisions. So if you want long-lasting results, go to Supplement Superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They'll knock 30% off the Burn Balance Complex, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:20. This is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Tom Ackerman and Roger Brand, who has the latest for you from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And we're getting a little bit more of a backup, Debbie, on southbound 170 now. This traffic report's a service of Artistic Decks. It's due to a crash that it looks to me like the ramp is closed. Southbound 170 getting onto eastbound 70, so you can't do that right now. And south 170 is jammed back pretty close to Scudder because of that left lane closed as you approach that 70 interchange. So we want to talk about our USPS Ground Advantage reliable route to get you around that ramp closure. That'd just be to get off at Airport Road or Scudder and take Hanley south to 70 to rejoin Interstate 70 there, because right now the ramp is shut down. Not sure how long it will be. Hopefully not very long, but that is the case as of right now. Other than that, we have some slow traffic briefly eastbound 70 east of Warrenton, southbound 61 Wentzville Parkway down to 64. That's a little bit busy. On the south side, you've got heavy traffic northbound 55 north of Richardson up to the Merrimack River, right around Bayless and Holly Hills, Loughborough area. And I'm also seeing a little bit of a slowdown westbound 270 west of the Canal Bridge as well. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Ready to hit a home run with your
seems like.
backyard? Call Artistic Decks. We're celebrating 25 years of A-plus service with massive rollback pricing. Get a professional custom-built deck for less. Hit it out of the park with Artistic Decks. Call 314-280-0821 today.
Some nice weather, says Joe Lundberg. Breezy, much warmer today, high 78. Tonight, partly cloudy, breezy, low 59. Tomorrow, breezy and warm. A high of 82. It's 44 right now.
And the news continues at 6:22. Voters in the Francis Howell School District say no to a slate of conservative candidates, including incumbent Jane Puskar. It's the third year in a row the conservative slate of candidates has been rejected. It follows several years of conservative activism on the school board that focused on hot-button issues that turned school board meetings into shouting matches.
Winning seats yesterday were Sarah Dillard, Kevin McGuire, and Jason Adams. Adams told the Post-Dispatch the community is done with the hate and divisiveness that has existed since post-COVID. He said voters want people on the board that just care about providing excellent education and looking after teachers and staff.
Well, don't say your vote doesn't count. In St. Charles, incumbent city councilman Bill Ott was defeated by Chris Kyle by just one vote. Otto says he will request a recount.
Another incumbent, Mary West, was defeated by a large margin by former county assessor Scott Shipman. West ran unopposed for years, but according to the Post-Dispatch, got entangled in the data center uproar when residents discovered her family had ties to the developer. 3 other incumbents on the city council retain their seats.
As the rhetoric ramps up between the U.S. and Iran, KMOX asked Webster University International Relations professor Danny Bello for some perspective. He says it's tricky to determine what infrastructure in Iran is civilian and what is military when it comes to any potential bombing and regulations set by the Geneva Convention.
I'm sure a lot of international legal specialists in the Pentagon are going through the list of targets and trying to make that very clear.
Bello says on the other side, Iran has suggested using civilians to surround power plants.
Military goals are done by putting human shields in the way, and that's absolutely not just unethical, but also unlawful.
Bello says it's hard to negotiate lasting peace in the region while an active conflict continues.
Friday will mark the first inflation report since the war began.
Guess what economists and analysts are expecting for this report on Friday? Not 2.6, not 2.1, 3.4, a full 1% higher than 2.4. And that's got to be all because of the war and the higher gas prices and all that. Now, let's be honest, analysts and economists are routinely wrong about this kind of stuff, and they very well could be wrong. The number could be higher. I don't think so. I think if it's going to be wrong, it might come out on the lower side. And I only say that because a big chunk of the monthly inflation report comes from housing.
Dave Simons, partner and managing director of One Private Wealth, says that news could send the bond market into a negative direction.
Can a change to a year-round blend of ethanol mean savings for Illinoisans at the gas pump?
We posed that question to Gas Buddy Vice President Patrick Dahan.
Approximately 10 to 20 cent a gallon discount to that of regular 87 octane with up to 10% ethanol. And that's really the difference here, is that it's a slight increase in ethanol. It's a separate product. It's a separate pump handle with separate labels.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and others are lobbying Washington for a waiver to sell E15 year-round instead of just for a few months at a time. Dahan calls it a technicality that stands in the way. He thinks more stations would offer E15 if the year-round sale is approved. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
Menopause warning. I'm Fred Bottomer with 60 Seconds to Better Health. Older women are being bombarded with ads for products that imply they ease the symptoms of menopause. The AP's Jennifer King tells us about that.
Dietary supplements, lotions, special jewelry, and gadgets promise rejuvenation and relief, but medical experts warn be wary of the surge in marketing.
I don't like the way it makes me feel.
Brandy Magruder, a librarian in Dallas, says she's not thrilled about her symptoms or the online ads.
It comes in my algorithm, and so I kind of don't want to see it, and so I hear it and scroll up.
Physicians say that before spending lots of money on products that make big promises, it's important for women to talk to their doctors about what has actually been proven to help and what could be harmful.
I feel like once you try one, then all the ads keep coming.
Dr. Melissa Muscar studies dermatology and obstetrics gynecology at UT Southwestern Medical Center.
A lot of new fancy things coming out and targeted to perimenopause, menopause patients, but sometimes the tried and true things that we at least have the science for, I think still are my kind of gold standard for my patients.
With 60 Seconds to Better Health, I'm Fred Bottomer.
It's 6:27. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
When it comes to selling a home, a lot of people want to time the market. They want to pick the perfect time to put their home on the market so that it sells quickly and for the most money. And when you listen to the news, it's hard to know when that perfect time is. Like, oh, mortgage rates are up now. They're down now. The stock market is good. People are feeling pinched. People are buying. You try to keep track of all of it. But here's what you really need to do is just have the right agent. If you have the right agent, like Gloria Liu of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, it really doesn't matter what is happening in the world because Gloria will sell your home. She guarantees it. And she guarantees to sell it at the price and time frame that you both agree upon, or she will buy your home herself. In fact, Gloria guarantees she'll sell your home at 100% of market value, or she'll pay you the difference. Now go ahead and make your phone calls and interview your agents, but I don't think you're going to find another agent who will guarantee you the same. So if you're thinking about selling your home this year, my number one recommendation for you is Gloria Liu, Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, 314-325-6888. Or find her online right now at gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Introducing Home Care Plus, a new subscription service from Lowe's that helps make life easier by giving members a hand with home maintenance. Let Lowe's tackle the tasks you keep meaning to do, like electric dryer vent cleaning, replacing hard-to-reach light bulbs, and more. Subscribe to Home Care Plus for just $99 a year and consider your to-do list done. Members get more at Lowe's. Available in select zip codes only. Cancel anytime. Non-refundable fee. Product purchase required. Terms and service restrictions apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
It's your captain speaking. To the passenger with the Mirror Fast soft shoes, smart move.
No way am I letting travel constipation ruin this trip.
Can't blame you. Mirror Fast works fast, but without the harsh side effects.
Since I'm such a smart traveler, can I move to first class?
No. Close the curtain, Carol.
From the makers of Miralax, new MiraFast soft chews work naturally with your body in as little as 30 minutes to give you a comfortable go on the go. Find Mirafast today at your local retailer. Use as directed for occasional constipation. Contains magnesium hydroxide.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Is your garage door past its prime? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renters also hire experienced techs and installers. RenterDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
Cloudy, 44 degrees downtown at the Arch at 6:30. I'm Tom Ackerman.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and this is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, we still have our incident on southbound 170, the crash, southbound 170 at the eastbound 70 ramp. It looks to me like the ramp is closed, but the left lane is closed nonetheless, and it's backed up just south of Scudder through the area on southbound 170 right now because of it. Other than that, we're building volume on southbound 61, Highway P down to 64 is busy. Just a hint of a slowdown at Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Still have that little bit of a slowdown on eastbound 70 just east of 47 in the Warrenton area. Coming up from the south side, northbound 55, north of Richardson up to the Merrimack River. It's a little busy at Butler Hill. from Bayless up through Weber's bumper to bumper. After that, not so bad. North 270 a little slow at Gravois, and north of Big Bend up through Manchester. After that, it's not so bad. Headed up through Highway 64 on the Illinois side, westbound 64 in Fairview Heights, fine, and it's still clear headed for the Poplar. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Roger, we're going to have a great day today. Sun and clouds, breezy, much warmer, high 78. Tonight, partly cloudy, breezy, low 59. Tomorrow, sunshine and clouds, even warmer, high 82. Might get a couple of showers and perhaps a thunderstorm on Friday with a high of just 67 degrees. Right now, it's 44 downtown at the Arch.
Voter turnout for the general municipal election in the city of St. Louis, very low yesterday. There was just one issue on the ballot, and that was Proposition E, renewing the city's earnings tax, which got 86% of the vote from the 1,700 or so people who came to the polls.
Last week's condemned apartment complex raid left many of its tenants homeless. The St. Louis police raid from last Thursday resulted in 63 summons, 13 arrests, and dozens of guns being confiscated. Police also closed the apartment permanently, calling it a hub from crime. Our partners at Fox 2 report the tenants have nowhere to go, with some saying they were never notified the complex was condemned. According to a city spokesperson, notices were posted on February 10th, while officers made face-to-face contact.
The blame game between the St. Louis County Council and the county executive is reaching epic proportions.
I want to make comments directed to the employees of St. Louis County government. Earlier today, the county executive sent out an email to county employees encouraging them to address their concerns over the budget to the council, but not to blame him, but to blame the council with the implied threat and scare tactic of layoffs.
Councilman Mark Harder says Dr. Sam Page's fiscal leadership has led to this crossroads. Executive Page proposes a budget, then it's the council's job to allocate the funds to the different departments.
The departments have determined that some of them won't have enough funds to get through the middle of 2026 without some staff reductions or additional funding. And the county council's budget coordinator has been in contact with the budget directors, admitting that he made several mistakes in calculating the end-of-year budget cuts when doing the line item reviews.
So it is now left up to the adults in the room to make the hard decisions for this county. Many are not going to be popular for some, but they have to be done and will be done this year.
Exactly what that entails, still not clear. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
It's 6:34. Your Money Minute is next. The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Hear me out on this. Let's say, for the sake of argument, you do have a wife or a significant other. Yeah. They're just a huge problem in your life. And then you win the giant jackpot. Mm-hmm. Don't you feel like this is your opportunity to just leave town?
You're not going to file papers because now you're going to be legally bound to this lady.
That's what you get the lawyer for.
You're not even married and you're fantasizing about leaving your wife.
The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays starting at 9 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Pump up the volume. Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/groundadvantage to learn more.
It is 6:35, and it's time for your Money Minute from Bloomberg, which is sponsored for you by Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, elder law attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. A relief rally has swept through global markets, lifting stocks and sparking the biggest drop in oil prices in almost 6 years after a 2-week ceasefire deal between the U.S. and Iran. Dow futures are up around 1,100 points. The current plan includes allowing Iran and Oman to charge fees on ships transiting through the Strait of Hormuz, and the U.S. will help with traffic buildup in the waterway. Deere & Company has agreed to pay $99 million as part of a settlement that will resolve a class action lawsuit accusing the farm equipment giant of monopolizing repair services. The deal would settle a 2022 lawsuit that accused the company of withholding repair software and conspiring with authorized dealers to force farmers to use their services for repairs when they could otherwise fix tractors and other equipment themselves or use other alternatives. Buffalo Wild Wings has brought back bottomless appetizers. Beginning now, you can get the apps for $9.99 for parties of up to 4 people, and you get 2 choices at a time. Matt Piper, Bloomberg Radio.
Lederman Law Firm, L-A-I-D-E-R-M-A-N. My family's been clients of the Lederman Law Firm for more than 2 decades now, and I hear this all the time from people around St. Louis. I have an estate plan. I think we do. We did that years ago. We've been meaning to look at it again. Honestly, that is the issue. Estate plans are not one and done. And what I've learned is most plans don't fail because people don't care. They fail because life changes and the plan doesn't keep up. And at the Lederman Law Firm, it isn't just paperwork. It is an ongoing process. They build your estate plan to protect your family and your property, and then for a fixed annual fee, they actually help maintain it so it stays aligned with changes in your life and your assets and the law. That's a big reason we have stayed with the Lederman Law Firm all these years. Check them out online at ledermanlaw.com or call 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? Trust Overhead Door Company of St. Louis to keep your garage door reliable. Maybe the old weather stripping needs replaced to keep out the cold and hot air. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Trusted here since 1926. For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
This afternoon,
The Cards, the Nationals.
Cameron Total Access 210. First pitch 305.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:39. Iran, the United States, and Israel agreeing to a 2-week ceasefire. The 11th hour deal allowed President Trump to pull back from his threats to unleash a bombing campaign to destroy Iranian civilization. Vice President J.D. Vance says the Iranians have agreed to open up the Strait of Hormuz and have agreed to stop, and the U.S. has agreed to stop attacking. And that is the basis of a fragile truce.
It's 6:40. Roger Brand, you're in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, they're still working with this crash southbound 170 at the ramp to eastbound 70. That ramp appears to still be closed. Southbound 170 is a solid jam back past Scudder. They did say there was one injury in that crash. They transported him to an area hospital. So they're still on the scene dealing with it, obviously. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, there's a little slowdown east of Warrenton. There's another little slowdown at Wright City. And there's a little slowdown right at Cave Springs. Southbound 61 is slow in stretches from Highway P down onto 64 through Prospect. Opens up before you get to the Boulevard. Northbound 270, certainly busier north of 55 through Gravois and Big Bend up through Manchester. Northbound 55 north of Richardson up to the Merrimack River Bridge is slow. And then from Bayless up to River to Pear, a little slow past Loughborough, Holly Hills after that. And westbound 64 west of 159 is a little bit busy on the Illinois side as well. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Another Haverty's Furniture showroom is opening soon in Fenton and Gravois Bluffs. With over a century of experience, Haverty's Furniture knows the best sofa is the one that fits your style, your space, and your budget. Experience Haverty's regret-free guarantee for yourself. A new location is opening soon in Fenton and Gravois Bluffs. Start browsing now at havertys.com.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg, what a day you have dialed up for us today.
This is going to be a beauty after the chill of yesterday where we never got out of the 50s. Today, we're going to have enough sunshine. The breeze is going to be picking up out of the south, and it's going to get noticeably warmer, probably about 20 degrees warmer than yesterday's high, up to 78. And it stays mild tonight, partly cloudy, rather breezy. The low just 59. A warm one tomorrow with sunshine and some clouds. Our high 82. Now, Friday's a little bit of a clunker. A front comes in and then stalls across the area, so a lot of clouds, a couple of showers off and on throughout the day, and maybe a rumble of thunder, the high 67. There is a risk of a shower on Saturday, but most of the day is dry with clouds and some sun where you get back to 76. We'll make it run at 80 with some sunshine on Sunday. 45 right now at St. Peter's, and in Florissant, it's partly cloudy, 47 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is now 6:42, and the news continues. Efforts are underway to make hundreds of cash-strapped TSA workers and other Homeland Security employees whole despite the ongoing partial government shutdown. We get more from CBS's Jesse Mitchell.
Homeland Security Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen says DHS employees should all see back pay in their accounts by either Friday or Monday. The partial government shutdown that began 6 weeks ago caused tens of thousands of DHS staff, including TSA officers, to work without pay, leading to record high call-outs and hours-long airport lines. Secretary Mullen says President Trump's executive action and funding flexibility will cover the payments.
The Trump administration is keeping former Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem's jet.
Noem leased the $70 million plane, which features a kitchen, showers, 4 large TVs, a bar, and a queen-size bed. Noem was asked about the plane during her testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee last month.
Department of Homeland Security to have a plane.
Luxury jet with a bedroom in it?
Yeah, we used a 737. I've been on it once, but
The Wall Street Journal has learned the White House has taken the plane away from the Department of Homeland Security. It will now be used by cabinet secretaries and the First Lady. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Frustrated with soaring costs for everyday needs and a seemingly constant pressure to tip, U.S. consumers say they're cutting back on gratuities or skipping them altogether. That research is according to Pop Menu, a tech leader serving more than 10,000 restaurants who surveyed 1,000 anonymous Americans on their tipping practices. Jennifer Grass is vice president of marketing. She says tipping fatigue is hitting just about every corner of the service industry.
At the height of the pandemic, we saw really generous tipping. As we saw tipping become more prevalent, we start to see people growing a bit more immune to tipping.
You know, it's interesting. I am a tipper. I love to tip, especially if it's good service. But when we went to Italy, we were told multiple times that they look at tipping differently. They look at it as kind of almost like insulting.
Right.
Like,
If
what,
you're
that
in
wasn't good
Asia
enough?
and you try to tip somebody in, say, China or something, they just look at you like, what are you doing? They try to give you the money back. I'm not opposed to tipping in, say, restaurants and stuff, but lately, everywhere you go, they flip that screen around and you're supposed to tip every single person who rings up your groceries or whatever. Like, it's enough.
Yeah, how about it? It's 6:45. Let's start our Cardinals coverage with KMOX's Matt Pauley.
It takes a village for the Cardinals to complete a 7-6 10-inning win over the Nationals. A bunch of guys come up with big hits. Jordan Walker hits a home run in the 7th to get the club back within 2 runs. Nathan Church ties it in the 8th with a 2-run home run. Thomas Ajayci gives the Cardinals the lead with an RBI double in the 10th, and J.J. Weatherholt drives in the winning run with his own double in the 10th inning. Manager Oliver Marmol loves all of it.
A lot going on. Church to 2-run homer there. Walker hits another one. Saggy being able to drive in and switch places there with that double in the 10th. I mean, just a lot of positives from that game.
Walker's home run is already his 4th of the year. He did not hit his 4th home run until his 73rd game last season on August 8th. Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Who's hot, who's not? Sponsored by St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories. Matt, how about Nathan Church? He goes from not to hot with one swing of the bat.
With a runner at first, the 1-2 pitch.
Church swings, and it's a high fly ball, right field. Weimer moving back to the wall. It's a goner! A home run for Nathan Church, tying the game. That's the way to break an 0 for 22. In grand fashion for Nathan Church.
Congratulations on the win. That about in the 8th was your first of the game. You tie it with your home run. How did you prepare for that moment?
Just in the cage, just did a bunch of machine work and just try to get a good pitch to hit.
The 5th comeback win for this team. How do you describe what's going on in the dugout as you start to mount those comebacks?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is our mentality. We're never out of the game, so just to be able to come back in the 10th was a good game.
Was there anything in particular you were looking for throughout your at bat?
No, nothing. Just some over the plate and just put a good swing on it is really all I was trying to do. Simplify.
The team right now, the way things are going, the way Ollie describes it, loud, resilient. What would you say about your team?
Just like what you said, loud and resilient. And it was just a great game. Great overall team win.
Thank you, Nathan. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Nathan Church with Danny Wexelman on Cardinals TV. Cardinals get the win. 3:05 start for them today on KMOX from Washington, D.C. Despite a late comeback attempt, the Battlehawks came up short in a 31-15 loss to the Dallas Renegades down in Frisco, Texas. Battlehawks rallied in the fourth quarter, but it wasn't enough to match the Renegades, who had 327 total yards of offense. The Blues went up against an offensive juggernaut last night. They lost to the Avalanche. Final score was 3-1. This after the Blues beat them in Denver 2 nights earlier. With that loss, it's costly because the Blues are now 6 points out of a playoff spot in the Western Conference with just 5 games to go. Nashville blasted Anaheim 5-0 in their contest last night. They own that final spot in the West. St. Louis composting. They are all over the area. 9 locations in the St. Louis area, so there is one near you. But you know what we did? We went to stlcompost.com, stlcompost.com, to figure out exactly how much mulch we needed. They had a nice little material calculator at the top of the page. So we just put in the numbers, and it told us how many cubic yards we needed. Then we set it up. They delivered the mulch to our house. That was that. We spread it, and off we go. Refresh your entire landscape with a fresh layer of mulch in your flower beds and around your trees. It's the fastest way to make your yard pop with a beautiful, well-kept look. You can choose from a variety of mulches at stlcompost.com. They also have compost, and they have soil. They even have that Missouri Botanical Garden bagged soil if you want to check that out. It's like $7 a bag or something. It's a great deal. stlcompost.com. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, making memories.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs' attorneys. And for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-ALL-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertising.
Each year in St. Louis, 10 women are recognized for volunteer leadership that changes lives. They support families, strengthen communities, and create opportunities where they're needed most. Join us Tuesday, May 19th at the Ritz-Carlton for the 2026 Women of Achievement Awards Luncheon. Celebrate their impact and be part of a tradition more than 70 years strong. Reservations available at WOASTL.org. For more information, go to KingdomOX.com/events.
Now the news at 1 the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:50, time to check the roadways and the weather. It should be a really nice day today. Hopefully your commute this morning will be nice too. Roll the windows down, get yourself some fresh air, and listen to Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, it's slow in a lot of places. Not so nice on South 170 right now, though, Debbie. This traffic reports a service of financial and tax strategy. Still working this crash, South 170 at the ramp to eastbound 70. That ramp is still closed. They messed up the guardrail. There was an injury involved in the crash. South 170 jammed back to about Airport Road. After that, it's slow from the Parkway down to 64. Northbound 270, slow through Gravois, and then there's a couple of pockets north of 44 up toward Manchester. It picks up the pace before you get there, though. Southbound 61, Highway P down through Wentzville Parkway onto 64 through Prospect. A couple of spots where it slows down briefly, but it's not a consistent delay all the way through. Eastbound 70, a little slow at Warrenton and around Highway A, as well as up the hill from Mid Rivers to Spencer. If you're on a northbound 55 north of Richardson up to the Merrimack's, heavy from Bayless all the way up through Holly Hills is slow. Westbound 64 right now is just slow down approaching 157 and then just at the Poplar. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If your retirement plan is mostly what if and a little fingers crossed, you deserve better answers than that. Check out Wealth and Wisdom Saturdays at 7 a.m. here on KMOX. I'm Gary Goldberg. Call 800-966-1690.
Times of sun and clouds today. We're going to get a high of 78, breezy and warmer today. Tonight, low 59. Tomorrow, another sunny, breezy day with a high of 82. As for Friday, we cool off a bit with showers and perhaps a thunderstorm, high 67. We're back up to 76 with a shower Saturday and Sunday. Here we go again, sunny, breezy, and warm and a high near 80. Currently, it's cool out there, cloudy and 45 downtown at the Arch.
It is 6:52, and the latest findings on what viruses are currently circulating across Missouri are just out.
The lab operations manager for MSD, Kim Duke, is overseeing the wastewater surveillance at Grand Glaze Wastewater Treatment Plant in Valley Park. She tells Missouri Net, the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services is looking for signs of an increasing amount of 3 viruses in the area: influenza, COVID, and RSV.
A healthy individual is going to recover from those pretty quick, but those are specifically targeted because those affect our vulnerable populations significantly more than it would a healthy individual.
The latest reported results show levels of influenza and COVID are very low in this area, but RSV levels are high across the region. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
The mayor of Arnold is firing back against the audit into the use of their transportation development district.
We're being accused that we're operating inside the gray area and the shadows of the state law. Well, it's still within the state law.
Arnold Mayor Bill Moritz saying he disagrees with Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick's findings. Moritz says they did nothing wrong by including no residential addresses in the TDD.
Landowners, the guys who do Lowe's, Deerbergs, they're the landowners. They're the ones who got to decide who, the TDD. They're the ones who enacted the TDD.
But they won't have an opportunity to vote on whether or not there's a tax associated with the TDD, correct? Because these are commercial properties. These aren't primary residencies. That's
not true. I mean, there's a TDD board, and that board is appointed by those property owners. And it's a coincidence that, some of the board members are city officers.
Moritz says they have 3 viable projects and will not. Moritz says they have 3 viable projects and will release the documentation with them on the city's website. He adds they will also discuss the TDD at the next city council meeting and have invited the auditor to join, but says the invitation was declined. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
St. Charles County looking to fill a number of vacancies with their 911 dispatchers at a job fair this morning. Emergency Management Director Jeff Smith says they have nearly a quarter of the budgeted positions open.
We have recovered nicely over the last couple of years from our low during the high of COVID. Currently, we have 9 openings for dispatchers out of a total of 44.
The county is also looking to fill positions in the jail and police department. The hiring event starts at 10 at the Missouri Job Center in St. Charles.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
Remember, if you have a birthday or anniversary you would like announced in this segment, make sure to put the date on it and email it to totalam@kmox.com, totalam@kmox.com. Happy birthday wishes going out to Carol Vierling, Leslie Hofarth from all your friends at Forest Park. Cece Pescar Weir of Glen Carbon is celebrating today. Happy birthday, Greg Silver from the Game Night Girls. The birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com.
This is the best birthday ever.
Let's talk for just one moment about one of the most amazing places in town. That would be St. Louis Public Library, whether it's Central Library, which is so absolutely beautiful. They do docent-led tours of Central. It's worth your time if you haven't seen it. It's gorgeous. Or all the neighborhood branches. They provide not just books, but so much more. And libraries really are filling a void. If you're looking to save money, I'm just saying, budgets are tight these days. You don't have to buy books. You don't have to have expensive subscriptions for audiobooks or ebooks or to do genealogy research or even newspaper or magazine subscriptions. You can do all of those things. Get all of that for free with your St. Louis library card. If you are a resident of St. Louis City, St. Louis County, or St. Charles County, you can get your library card, and I highly recommend you do. Worth its weight in gold. St. Louis Public Library is St. Louis's original search engine. Get more info at slpl.org.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Wesley Financial.
Apple is adding 4 new partners to its U.S. manufacturing expansion plans. Bosch, Cirrus Logic, TDK, and Qnity Electronics will manufacture essential materials and components in the U.S. for Apple products, with the iPhone maker investing $400 million in the companies through 2030. Apple says it's part of the company's $600 billion 4-year commitment to U.S. manufacturing and innovation. I'm Jason Brooks.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
It's Roger Brand, 658 Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, good news for South 170 drivers, Tom. Just within the last 45 seconds or so, they reopened the ramp from southbound 170 to eastbound 70, so that crash is cleared. There's still a jam for now. Jam back through Airport Road on South 170, but I'm sure it'll thin out pretty quickly. Other places, it's not so bad. Southbound 61, just a little slow crossing over onto eastbound 64 after Prospect. You're in good shape. If you're on northbound 270, there's, again, just a brief slowdown north of Gravois. And from about Big Bend up to Manchester, busy. But after that, clear up through 64 and Ladue so far. South 270 is still clear coming down through Ladue to 64 as well. Northbound 55, midway from Richardson to 141 up to the Merrimack River in the construction zone is kind of busy. Again, it bogs down from Bayless all the way up to Loughborough, and then it sorts itself out. Illinois drivers don't have much to worry about. In fact, it looks better on westbound 64 through 159, still okay across the Poplar. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is Wednesday, April the 8th. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
No money, no budget. So how did the budget woes in St. Louis County get resolved? I'm Maria Aquino with details.
I'm Sean Malone with the latest on a house explosion in Troy, Illinois. Coming up.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Times of sun and clouds today, becoming breezy and much warmer. High 78.
2 strikes, 2 outs. Tying run at third base. O'Brien, the pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck it out.
And the Cardinals win again. A dramatic comeback win for the Redbirds. We'll have the report coming up at 7:15. I'm Tom Ackerman at 7.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. A day after he vowed to obliterate Iran, President Trump has gotten what he wanted, a temporary ceasefire intended to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Correspondent Nancy Cordes is at the White House.
After nearly 40 days of all-out war, the military strikes in Iran have stopped.
President Trump agreeing last night to suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks, saying a long-term peace plan is very far along. As part of the ceasefire, Iran's foreign minister announced last night, for a period of 2 weeks, safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz will be possible via coordination with Iran's armed forces.
President Trump's just posted to Truth Social the U.S. will work with Iran to, in his words, dig up and remove its enriched uranium that was buried under joint U.S.-Israeli strikes last summer. CBS News national security contributor Samantha Vinograd.
What we don't know is what the U.S. red lines are and what the U.S. is really after in negotiations. Is it the nuclear file? Is it the Strait of Hormuz? Is it ballistic missiles? Or is it proxies? And that's going to take longer than 2 weeks to ascertain.
Oil futures have plunged below $95. Dow futures up more than $1,200. A source tells CBS News Rex Heuermann, the suspected serial killer from Long Island, is expected to change his plea to guilty today to murdering 7 women, all believed to be sex workers. Correspondent Tom Hansen is in Riverhead, New York.
Heuermann was set to go on trial in September, with prosecutors accusing him of living a double life, posing as a family man while allegedly committing the killings. Now, Heuermann's lawyers repeatedly tried to have DNA evidence against him tossed out, but they were largely unsuccessful. And now it appears the 62-year-old may avoid a jury trial after all.
British researchers have begun an experimental treatment on children suffering from deadly forms of cancer. CBS's Vicky Barker from London.
So-called solid tumor cancers are some of the most common and treatment-resistant childhood cancers, and conventional chemotherapy and radiation treatments can permanently damage the health of those children who survive them. Enter some new kinds of immunotherapies called CAR T-cell therapies. Team leader Dr. Martin Pule.
They've been very effective actually in blood cancers, and we're hoping to try and replicate some of that success in childhood cancers.
There was a wild bench-clearing brawl in Anaheim.
Now here comes Soler going after Lopez. They square up, and Soler and Lopez are throwing haymakers. They're going after each other.
Atlanta's Ronaldo Lopez pitched high and inside to LA's Jorge Soler, who'd already been hit. The 6'3", 235-pounder charged the mound. Both benches joined in. Lopez and Soler both ejected. This is CBS News.
Every Sunday, moderator Margaret Brennan goes face-to-face with top leaders to make you better informed. Face the Nation, Sunday on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents. So when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
It is 7:04, and right now in downtown St. Louis, we have some clouds, but I'd say mostly sunny in downtown St. Louis, 45 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Last week's condemned apartment complex raid left many of its tenants homeless. The St. Louis police raid from last Thursday resulted in 63 summons, 13 arrests, and dozens of guns being confiscated. Police also closed the apartment permanently, calling it a hub of crime. Our partners at Fox 2 report the tenants have nowhere to go, with some saying they were never notified the complex was condemned. According to a city spokesperson, notices were posted on February 10th, while officers made face-to-face contact.
More detonations heard yesterday from the scene of a fatal house explosion earlier this week in Troy, Illinois. As KMOX's Sean Malone tells us, a bomb squad returned to the home yesterday.
On the 8,000 block of West Kirsch Road, where late Sunday evening, a house exploded, killing 3 individuals and injuring a 4th. Now, talking to neighbors and including the time I've been here, there have been at least 8 controlled demolitions by the Illinois bomb squad, many of them further back on the property. The property, looking at it, it's not very wide, but it does go back quite deep, and there's a little bit of a hill in the front, so it is hard to see exactly what's going on. But just looking at the front, the Madison County Sheriff is here. The Troy, Missouri Fire Department is here. I can see an Illinois bomb squad trailer that looks like some sort of mechanism, if you will, that could be used to detonate an explosive inside of. And the St. Charles County, Missouri Police Department Canine Unit is here as well. In Troy, Illinois, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The blame game between the St. Louis County Council and the county executive is reaching epic proportions.
I want to make comments directed to the employees of St. Louis County government. Earlier today, the county executive sent out an email to county employees encouraging them to address their concerns over the budget to the council, but not to blame him, but to blame the council with the implied threat and scare tactic of layoffs.
Councilman Mark Harder says Dr. Sam Page's fiscal leadership has led to this crossroads. Executive Page proposes a budget, then it's the council's job to allocate the funds to the different departments.
The departments have determined that some of them won't have enough funds to get through the middle of 2026 without some staff reductions or additional funding. And the county council's budget coordinator has been in contact with the budget directors, admitting that he made several mistakes in calculating the end-of-year budget cuts when doing the line item reviews.
So it is now left up to the adults in the room to make the hard decisions for this county. Many are not going to be popular for some, but they have to be done and will be done this year.
Exactly what that entails, still not clear. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Let's jump over to the Pentagon. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth talking now about the ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran.
Their missile program is functionally destroyed. Launchers, production facilities, and existing stockpiles depleted and decimated. And almost completely ineffective. Iran shot hundreds and hundreds of missiles and one-way attack drones at our aircraft carrier. They were obsessed with it, and they never got even close. Every single one of those shots easily shot down miles and miles away from the Abe Lincoln. They were blowing ammo into fantasy land. Contrast that with, most significantly, in last night's wave of more than 800 strikes, we finished completely destroying Iran's defense industrial base, a core pillar of our mission objective. What little they have left buried in bunkers is all they will have. They can still shoot, we know that. Their command and control is so decimated they can't really talk and coordinate, so they still may shoot here and there, but that would be very, very unwise. But they can no longer build missiles, build rockets, build launchers, or build UAVs. Their factories have been razed to the ground, set back in historic fashion. You see, had Iran refused our terms, the next targets would have been their power plants, their bridges, and oil and energy infrastructure, targets they could not defend and could not realistically rebuild. It would have taken them decades, and we were locked and loaded. They couldn't defend against it. President Trump had the power to cripple Iran's entire economy in minutes, but he chose mercy. He spared those targets because Iran accepted the ceasefire under overwhelming pressure. The new Iranian regime understood that a deal was far better than the fate that awaited them. This new regime just happened to look at what happened to their predecessors. Their top leadership was systematically eliminated. The previous Iranian supreme leader, dead. The Supreme National Security Council Secretary, dead. The Supreme Leader Office Advisor, dead. The Supreme Leader Military Office Chief, dead. The Defense Minister, no longer with us. The IRGC Commander, dead. The Armed Forces General Staff Commander, dead. The Intelligence Minister, dead. The IRGC Navy Commander, no longer here. The IRGC Intel Chief, dead. I skipped over a bunch, and I could go on and on and on.
That is Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, who says Iran begged for this ceasefire, and we all know it. Iran suffered a devastating military defeat, he says, and about Operation Epic Fury, the defense secretary says it was an overwhelming and historic victory. It's 7:10.
Let's get you caught up on traffic and weather. It looks like it's shaping up to be a really beautiful morning with sunshine and a nice breeze. Here's Roger Brand enjoying things from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, it's sort of slow out there, but no big jams right now. In fact, South 170 is still a little busy, Debbie. South of Scudder down through 70 due to the crash that was cleared just before the top of the hour. So it's improving, but there's still a little bit of a delay running through there right now. Southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway down on the 64 to Lake St. Louis Boulevard is sort of crowded, but after that, it's wide open all the way through 170. Eastbound Highway 70, just a little busy east of K right now. If you're on northbound 270, Sappington through Gravois, north of Big Bend, most of the way to Manchester, kind of off the pace running that route. Northbound 55, you got that slow traffic north of Richardson Road up to the Merrimack and the work zone. And again, roadwork delays from Bayless up to about Loughborough. Northbound Telegraph from Baumgartner up through Pottle looks like it's stopping on pockets. And for now, westbound 64 just has a little slowdown west of 50. After that, it looks good headed for the Poplar. Next update is 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg with our weather.
KMOX AccuWeather, times of sun and clouds today, becoming breezy and much warmer this afternoon with a high of 78, then partly cloudy, breezy and mild tonight, though 59. Sunshine and some clouds tomorrow, breezy and warm for the afternoon, high 82. Friday will be cloudy and cooler, look for a couple of showers and maybe a thunderstorm, the high 67. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, we have a cloudy sky. It's 45 degrees downtown at the Arch.
From the KMOX Business Desk, St. Charles County looking to fill a number of open positions across different departments. They're having a job fair today. This is St. Charles Assistant Director of Human Resources, Jeff Hunt.
I know in our corrections department right now, we have about 10 different openings, but within that department, relatively speaking, that's not that many.
He says they're looking for people with and without experience for the open positions they have. The job fair starts at 10 this morning at the Missouri Job Center on Truman Boulevard.
It's 7:13, sports in 2 minutes.
2026, I've been hearing from customers and friends that their utility bills went up quite a bit for their electric bill. That being said, and you're looking at buying a new air conditioner, or you're thinking, hey, I guess let's just get an air conditioner so it helps with the electric bills. If you have an old system, it definitely can help you. But watch your thinking. Just because you are told this is a so-called high-efficient air conditioner, it's not going to save you nowhere near what you think it's going to save you. Just replacing your old equipment is the biggest thing, and make your house efficient. An air conditioner is not going to make your house efficient. That being said, it's a great time to purchase an air conditioner if you get the correct one. Don't overspend. Don't believe the hype. In other words, don't drink the Kool-Aid. Call me, Bart Inman, at 314, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Again, the easiest of numbers, 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com. God bless.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about Burn Balance Complex. It's the latest tool available at supplement superstores to get you moving down the path you want to when it comes to being in great shape. This is not a fat burner. It is a complete metabolism system. It's Burn Balance Edge for the guys, Burn Balance Zen for the ladies. So make sure you ask for the right one when you go in. But what this does is makes your body work the right way. So what I've noticed in a short amount of time so far, metabolism is great. I mean, you're starting to feel, in fact, I can feel it. Shirts are fitting a little looser. The belt pulls a little tighter. And on top of that metabolism boost, you're also getting some reductions in stress and cortisol levels. You're getting appetite control, craving control throughout the day, all day focused energy with no jitters and crash. And look, it isn't magic. You need to do the work. But I'll tell you this, it's a good assistant. It helps a lot to make the right decisions. So if you want long-lasting results, go to Supplement Superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They'll knock 30% off the Burn Balance Complex, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
The game sponsored by The Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. Can we talk about Nolan Gorman for a minute? He was a topic on the Gas House Gang yesterday, and he picked it back up last night in Washington.
There's a swing and a drive to right field, and Weimer dives, and he can't make the play. The ball goes off his glove. Coming around third, here's Alec Burleson. The throw to the infield is mishandled. Now breaking for second base, and Gorman is going to be out. On to third base on the play, Jordan Walker.
But Gorman, one of his 3 hits on the day. He was 3 for 4 against the Nationals, and it wasn't just at the plate. He did this. Take a listen.
And there goes the runner from third. That one's grounded towards third, and it's barehanded by Gorman. The throw in the dirt, handled by Burleson. They got him at first. What a play by Alec Burleson. He was able to dig it out. Gorman made a great play as well.
He did a great play by Nolan Gorman, Nolan Arenado-like, and the Cardinals, Matt Pauley, put it together for a W.
The cardiac Cardinals strike again. Down 5 in the 7th inning, they go on to score 3 runs to force extra innings, and then they score 2 more runs in the 10th, ultimately beating the Nationals 7-6 in 10 innings. Manager Oliver Marmol says it's another example of the relentless nature of his team.
They're committed to it. If there's one thing we're going to do, it's going to be that. They're not going to give in. They're going to play hard regardless of score situation, man. And I'm proud of these dudes for continuing to do that. And you lose a game like yesterday, and to come back and have energy and to come back again, man, it says a lot about the group. So definitely proud of it.
Of the Cardinals' 6 wins this year, they have come from behind in 5 of them. Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
The Blues lost to the Avalanche 3-1 at Enterprise Center. The Blues are 6 points out of a playoff spot in the Western Conference. The Battlehawks lost as well, 31-15 to the Dallas Renegades. This is Masters Week. Tomorrow morning, first round of the Masters in Augusta. Who are the favorites? Scotty Scheffler is everybody's favorite, #1 player in the world. But keep an eye on Ludwig Åberg. Here's Dan Reardon.
And traditionally at the Masters, before you win, you contend at the Masters. And Åberg had that runner-up finish, I think, 2 years ago. Stumbled a bit at the Players' Championship with a poor final day. His weakness will be his putter, and everybody who is off the game with their putter will be exposed on the speed and firmness of the greens this week. But Åberg, and I'll throw into that same mix a guy who contended last year and has been good the last couple of years, Bryson DeChambeau, who's played very well on LIV this year, has contended in the tournament, and they're primed to come and do what they prepared to do a year before or 2 years before.
I'm going to give you a couple of picks coming up in my Circus Sports Parlay of the Day. That's on the way at 7:45. You're listening to the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Game day comfort steps up to the plate Saturday, April 11th, when the Cardinals face the Boston Red Sox downtown. That night, fans can score a Cardinals dugout hoodie presented by Mercy, built for cool nights, late innings, and early season baseball. It's a classic, easy-to-wear layer you'll reach for all year long. Available in medium or extra large while supplies last. Don't miss this spring matchup. Get tickets and details at cardinals.com/promotions.
Every Sunday home game is a Kids Sunday at Busch Stadium. From Team Fred birding games to a kid-friendly DJ, ice cream, and family favorite activities, Sundays are built for young fans. Plus, select Sundays feature kids run the bases after the game. It's a day made for smiles, memories, and Cardinals baseball together. Make Sundays your family tradition at Busch Stadium. Tickets and details at cardinals.com/KidsSunday.
Beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. Step into a fresher, cleaner home this spring with Zero Res. Spring is a time for renewal. Let Zero Res help you refresh your home with clean carpets, fresh floors, and improved air quality. Check out all of the raving customer reviews online with a 4.9 Google rating. This week, $50 per room of carpet clean for unlimited rooms. Call 314-474-2020 or go online at ZeroResSTL.com.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:20 and it's time for traffic and weather. So let's start with Roger Brand, who is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we have some slow traffic coming in on eastbound 70, but just par for the course, Debbie, like Bryan Road through TR Hughes, a little busy on that run. After that, it's in good shape. If you're on southbound 61, just Wentzville Parkway into 64 to the Boulevard, it's busy. Westbound 64, Hampton, headed out through McCausland, Bellevue's a little off the pace. Northbound 270, bogged down as you ramp on from 55 through Gravois, and then 44 to Manchester, a little slow at 64 after that. South 270, Olive to Ladue is a little off the pace. There's more congestion on northbound 55 north of Richardson up to the Merrimack River in the work zone. From the Union Road overpass up to River to Pear backed up. Still seeing heavy traffic. Baumgartner up to Pottle on northbound Telegraph. Illinois drivers, the only delays right now, westbound 64 between 50 and 159. After that, it's good to go across the Poplar. However, this is the hour we're scheduled to be doing road work eastbound. The line close to Illinois into the Poplar Bridge clock through Friday 4 p.m. So I mean, this afternoon and tomorrow afternoon, those rush hours headed back into Illinois are going to be a little tough there. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
When you're injured on the job, you need more than just a workers' comp lawyer. When you need a fighter, you need us. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. For the people. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
What a fantastic weather day we have today. Joe Lundberg telling us a high of 78 degrees, times of sun and clouds, breezy and warm. Tonight, partly cloudy, rather breezy, low 59. Tomorrow, just a little warmer, sunshine and some clouds. It's a high of 82 for Thursday. Friday, cloudy and cooler with a couple of showers and perhaps a thunderstorm and a high of 67. Currently, it's cloudy, 45 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It is 7:22 and the news continues. Some results from area municipal elections yesterday. St. Charles County voters rejecting Proposition RT by a fairly large margin. The measure to extend property tax relief beyond just seniors was rejected 59 to 41%. Currently, 26,000 seniors in St. Charles County get a property tax freeze. This measure would have made another 73,000 people eligible, but there was pushback from business officials and others who said the revenue loss would impact schools, fire and ambulance, developmental disability services, and more. Meanwhile, that same property tax cap proposal passed in Jefferson and Franklin counties.
While voter turnout for general municipal election in the city of St. Louis was very low yesterday, the city's earnings tax, Proposition E, passed with 86% of the vote. Only 29% of voters said no to extending the 1% earnings tax. Only 1,693 people showed up to vote in the city of St. Louis.
A mixed bag yesterday at the polls for 31 fire protection and ambulance districts in St. Louis and St. Charles counties that were seeking a 1% sales tax increase. About 60% of them passed, including in Afton, Florissant Valley, Maryland Heights, and Spanish Lake. In St. Charles County, many of those sales tax measures failed, including the St. Charles County Ambulance District, Cottleville, Lake St. Louis, O'Fallon, and Wentzville.
Missouri is stepping up its efforts to fight sex trafficking. Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe signed a bill into law yesterday that puts greater focus on combating sex trafficking and increases the penalties for these crimes. At a bill signing ceremony, Attorney General Catherine Hanaway said she supports the bill.
When I was U.S. Attorney, I prosecuted literally hundreds of these child exploitation cases. People who are human trafficked begin as runaways. They don't have anybody in their corner. So I want to say a very special thank you to the representatives and to the senator for standing up for people who don't have anybody else standing up for them.
The governor signed two other bills, including one that will increase penalties for some juvenile offenders and allow Missouri counties to enact a 1% sales tax to fine new juvenile detention centers.
Hey, don't say your vote doesn't count. In St. Charles, incumbent city councilman Bill Ott was defeated by Chris Kyle by just one vote. Ott says he will request a recount. Another incumbent, Mary West, was defeated by a large margin by former county assessor Scott Shipman. West ran unopposed for years, but according to the Post-Dispatch, got entangled in the data center uproar when residents discovered her family had ties to the developer. 3 other incumbents on the city council retained their seats.
All 4 Festus city council incumbents were defeated in yesterday's municipal election. 3 of the 4 council members voted yes in March when the council approved the Festus data center plan. Our partners at Fox 2 report the voter turnout in Festus was higher than other places in Jefferson County. Some voters think that data center approval may have been the motivation behind much of the turnout, since a large number of residents voiced their concerns during last month's council meetings. The elections still need to be certified before the results are final.
Voters in the Francis Howell School District say no to a slate of conservative candidates, including incumbent Jane Puskar. It's the third year in a row the conservative slate of candidates has been rejected. It follows several years of conservative activism on the school board that focused on hot-button issues that turned school board meetings into shouting matches.
Winning seats yesterday were Sarah Dillard, Kevin McGuire, and Jason Adams. Adams told the Post-Dispatch the community is done with the hate and divisiveness that has existed since post-COVID. He said voters want people on the board that just care about providing excellent education and looking after teachers and staff.
No business groups testified in support of a plan to eliminate Missouri's state income tax. That question will be on the statewide ballot in November for voters to decide. Dave Drebus of the Missouri Scout says the business groups generally like Governor Kehoe, but see this not as a tax cut, but a tax shift.
There are many businesses that have sales tax exemptions, and will their exemptions go away? Or will we look at raising the corporate tax because we need revenue? I mean, I think that they're nervous about if this is revenue neutral and we're getting rid of 2/3 of general revenue, that's got to come from somewhere. And will that hurt their bottom line?
Drebus says the issue must be a constitutional amendment because the state legislature cannot expand the sales tax. If the income tax is eliminated, sales taxes would go up and apply to many things like services that are not subjected to that tax now.
Missouri Senate Bill 888 expands the authority of prosecutors to seek certification of juveniles as adults. It also increases data sharing and tracking of youth with the justice system and establishes new sentencing structures, requiring youngsters to serve longer portions of their sentences before parole eligibility. Governor Kehoe signed the bill into law yesterday against the wishes of the Missouri Legislative Black Caucus, who released a statement saying they are deeply concerned about the bill. The statement also says Bill 888 will disproportionately impact Black youth.
It is 7:27, and the time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Do you ever feel like people are mumbling more than they used to? Or maybe conversations at restaurants and family gatherings have gotten harder to follow? If this sounds familiar, it might be time to learn more about your hearing. That's why we're inviting you to a special lunch and learn at the Audiology Center. This event is on April 29th for various time slots. It's a relaxed and friendly gathering where our certified audiologists will talk about hearing and hearing loss, answer your questions, and share how today's hearing aids can help you connect with the moments that matter most. Hearing loss often happens slowly, and many people don't realize how much they're missing. It's important to know how untreated hearing loss can negatively affect you in the long term. It's a no-pressure event, just good conversation and good information, and lunch is on us. Seats are limited, so please call 636-441-7470 to reserve your spot for our free lunch and learn at the Audiology Center on April 29th. Take the first step towards hearing more clearly.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Dave Glover. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free and 24 months with no payments or interest plus $500 off. Call 314-334-2522. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120
Visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees when used as directed. Spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
At 7:30, a cloudy sky, 45 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman.
I'm Debbie Monterrey. Here's Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We're building more volume, getting close to the peak rush hour time now. Southbound 61, midway down from P to Wensville Parkway onto 64, almost all the way to 364 is heavy. A little slowdown through the Chesterfield Parkways and briefly past 170. Westbound 64, Hampton out through Bellevue. That's kind of crowded as well. Eastbound Highway 70, you've got slow traffic, Lake St. Louis through Bryan Road, a little busy, Earth City into 270. South 270, Olive down to Ladue is heavy. North 270 slow as you ramp on from 55. All the way up to Manchester, and then Clayton Road up to Ladue. Eastbound 44, Bowles through Miraz, a little busy around the bend, approaching Hampton. Westbound Kings Highway, or at least Vanaventer through Kings Highway. Westbound 44 is a touch slow. Northbound 55 north of Richardson up to the Merrimack is heavy. There's slow traffic from Bayless up to River de Pere. More volume on the Illinois side as well. Westbound 64 approaching 50 to 159. It's slow at 157, and then it's slow from the 70 split to 3rd Street, and one more time Route 3 onto the Poplar. Next update is 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says much warmer today, high 78 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, breezy, low 59. Tomorrow, sunshine and some clouds, warm in the afternoon, a high of 82. It's 45 right now.
Finding common ground and solutions for the good of the people is more of a slogan than a reality in St. Louis County. The council and the county executive can't agree on who is at fault when it comes to jobs and departments not being funded for this upcoming budget.
At this point, it seems as though they can find no common ground, only making snide comments and barbs at one another. Councilman Mark Harder.
For the past 5 years, the CE's feckless management of budgets and resources has brought us to this difficult moment in St. Louis County history. We cannot keep repeating the same mistakes and expecting a different outcome.
Harder says the county's government has become too expensive to operate. The question now is, what does that mean for residents and workers?
I am fed up with the attitude of mediocrity of this administration, from phones not getting answered, people who can't make a decision to save a life, expensive software that doesn't work, new police precinct buildings that don't function properly, to frivolous lawsuits and poorly executed purchasing contracts, to name a few.
County Executive Dr. Sam Page says the council only looked at spending through September of last year and did not consider spending adjustments in September, October, November, or December of 2025 when they made budget cuts. Page is praising the council's budget coordinator, though, for stepping up to acknowledge he made mistakes.
As a result of those admissions, my office sent a letter to the county council on Friday requesting several supplemental appropriations to remedy these errors and allow the county departments to continue to function without any more service interruptions for the rest of 2026.
Page says without additional funding, county departments will be forced to lay off employees and furloughs will need to be implemented starting in May and intermittently through the rest of the year.
It will certainly cause some government services to be reduced in St. Louis County, and some of them may actually come to a standstill.
Even with that dire warning, it does not seem to be breaking the standoff between the council and executive. Maria Aquino, KMOX News.
It's 7:34, the news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Money Minute next.
Hear me out on this. Let's say, for the sake of argument, you do have a wife or a significant other. Yeah. There's just a huge problem in your life. And then you win a giant jackpot. Mm-hmm. Don't you feel like this is your opportunity to just leave town?
You're not going to file papers because now you're going to be legally bound to this lady.
That's what you get the lawyer for.
You're not even married and you're fantasizing about leaving your wife.
The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays starting at 9 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
This is the story of the one.
As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
It is going on 7:36. It is a beautiful Wednesday morning, the 8th of April. Time right now for your money report from Bloomberg, sponsored by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Dow futures all up this morning. The near complete closure of the Strait of Hormuz, which is now set to reopen for a time, has rolled energy markets, with West Texas Intermediate still up more than 40% since the conflict started at the end of February. Milan is taking on Dubai as the home for the super rich. With the UAE under fire from Iranian missiles, wealthy investors are turning to Italy's flat tax haven. Super rich UK nationals are looking for a route back to Europe. And Milan, the financial center of Italy, is climbing to the top of that list. New Italian residents who have not paid taxes in the country for at least 9 out of the past 10 years do not have to pay tax on their foreign income. Burger King is testing a box of mini sliders. The king-size sliders box lands in Portland, Oregon and Columbus, Ohio from April 14th through May 18th for a limited run. It lets people build a box of 2 or 6 sliders, including bacon and cheese or the steakhouse bacon slider. It comes after Jack in the Box announced its own Smash Jack sliders recently. Matt Piper, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the Let's Revitalize Our Neighborhoods commitment. This is the Roll Up Our Sleeves and Pitch In commitment. This is Busey, where our commitment to strengthen our communities is a top priority. Through energetic, engaged volunteers, through monetary support, community leadership, and advocacy. Because Busey is more than a bank that does well, we're a bank that does good. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth, since 1868. Member FDIC.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
You know, on the Gas House Gang today, I get to do the Budweiser Toast of the Week. I'm looking forward to that. That's a new feature. That's going to be fun. I get to raise a Budweiser, an actual ice-cold Budweiser in my hand in the studio today to somebody. Who's going to get that? I don't know who I'm going to toast. But
you will literally have a beer here in the studio?
We're going to have 2 of them because I'm going to give Chris Ranji one too. This actually started when we toasted Katie Wu of The Athletic when she left for the Dodgers job. And Budweiser picked up on it. And guess what? We're going to do it every week on the Gas House Gang now. Budweiser is ice cold. It's delicious. And for 150 years, MLB fans, this Bud's for you. Budweiser's ambassadors, the legends, if you will, are Ken Griffey Jr., Mike Piazza, and Randy Johnson. And on their website, they're holding Budweisers. Randy's got a Diamondbacks can in his hand. Ken has a Cincinnati Reds can in his hand, and Piazza's leaning up against a tap, ready to pour an ice-cold Budweiser. Budweiser's the king of beers. The Cardinals can looks really cool. It has a picture of a catcher on it. Ice cold Budweiser and baseball, they go hand in hand. This Bud's for you.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Is your garage door past its prime? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renner's also hiring experienced techs and installers. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
Want to build income without a second job? Learn how real estate investing can help you create extra income one step at a time with Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
This afternoon, the Cards, the Nationals.
Cameron Total Access 210. First pitch 305.
Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Oh my goodness, it's 7:40 already. If you're just heading out the door, let's see what may or may not be in your way this morning. Roger Brand's got the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, busy highways out there right now, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis have an injury crash, by the way, Lindbergh and New Halls Ferry. They just sent emergency crews there. Actually, it's on New Halls Ferry at Lindbergh, I believe. Eastbound 370, 94 through the Discovery Bridge, slow in the work zone. Eastbound Highway 70, A to Lake St. Louis Boulevard, past Bryan Road and at T.R. Hughes, a little slow at 5th Street. And again, approaching 270 into the Rock Road. Southbound 61, midway between P and Wentworth Parkway onto 64, almost all the way to 364. Annie Guns through Clarkson. And right around McKnight through 170 is heavy. It was westbound 64, Science Center through Big Bend, slow. And again, Lindbergh out to 270. South 170, bogs down at Olive. South 270, Dorset down to Ladou's busy. North 270, 55 all the way up to Ladou's heavy. Eastbound 44, 141 through Bowles is the worst of it there. 55 still delays. Midway up from Richardson to 141 up to the Merrimack. It's backed up from Bayless up across River to Pear. Westbound 64 from 50 most of the way to 157 slow. And again from the 70 split to the Poplar. Next update at 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Enter now at overheaddoorstlouis.com.
It's also your lucky day if you're spending it outside because AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg, we have a beautiful day in store.
We do indeed. We have sunshine right now with some high clouds, and that's pretty much what we're going to see all day today. Partly sunny skies, breezy and much warmer. We're in the 40s now. We're going to end up in the upper 70s. What a big change from yesterday. Then tonight stays mild, partly cloudy and kind of breezy at the low 59. More sun than clouds tomorrow, a warm breeze. We'll get to 82. Now, Friday's different. A front saddles into the area from the north and west and then stalls. So with it, clouds, a couple of showers, maybe a thunderstorm. Our high 67. That's one little bump in the road, if you will. We get back into the 70s on Saturday with clouds and some sun and a slight chance of a shower. A little bit warmer on Sunday, partial sunshine, the high near 80. Right now it's 46 at St. Peter's and in Florissant, partly sunny, 47 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:42. Correspondent Michael George reports on the toll working long hours takes on the body.
Working a double shift can double the level of stress hormones in your body. A study in Turkey looked at nurses working a double shift and found that levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, were far higher than when they worked a single shift. Cortisol levels typically peak in the early morning, helping boost alertness and energy levels at the start of the day.
Black women in the United States are dying from pregnancy-related causes at a higher rate. Lisa Fielding tells us how Prentice Women's Hospital in Chicago is looking to curb those
In
statistics.
2021, the maternal mortality rate for Black women was 69 deaths per 100,000 live births. That's more than 2 times higher than their peers. Black women in the U.S. are 3 times more likely to die from a pregnancy-related cause than white women. Why?
Socioeconomic factors, insurance factors, and then also maternity care deserts. So there are, a staggering number of counties that don't have OBGYNs. And even when we look at Chicago, the decrease in hospitals that offer obstetric services can contribute.
Dr. Jacqueline Hairston is a maternal fetal medicine specialist with Northwestern Medicine. She says 80% of these deaths are preventable. Black Maternal Health Week is April 11th through the 17th. As part of it, the hospital is hosting the 3rd annual Black Maternal Health Open House, where women will learn all about high-risk pregnancies, prenatal care, infertility, contraception, and family planning. Lisa Fielding, News Radio 1059 WBBM.
Well, This is 104.1 FM KMOX. We're the home of the Cardinals, and we're going to get to baseball in just a minute. I want to start things off with our parlay of the day, sponsored by Circa Sports. Sports betting the way it should be. I'm actually going to go with my pick for the Masters. I'm going to give you a couple of picks. So the favorite is Scotty Scheffler. You probably know that by now. He's the number one player in the world. I'm not going there. I really like Ludwig Åberg. I think Åberg, this could be the year that he breaks through and wins this thing. He is plus 1,600. I think that is very good value. Plus 1,600 if you have Åberg to win the Masters. I also like, with the longer odds, but I think someone who is due is Justin Rose. Justin Rose tied for second just last year at the Masters. If you've been watching golf the last few years, he has been playing great. He's only won one major, and that was the U.S. Open, and that was a while ago. That was back in 2013. But he has been buzzing around these majors. He looks great. And Justin Rose at plus 3,000, I think, is a really good play here. So check out that Circa Sports app. Now, let's get ourselves to baseball and turn things over to our broadcasters in the booth after a dramatic victory for the Cardinals.
With Ricky Horton, I'm John Rooney. It came down to the last batter, a one-run lead for the Cardinals in the 10th inning. Ricky Horton.
2 strikes, 2 outs. Tying run at third base. O'Brien, the pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Save number 3 for Riley O'Brien, and the Cardinals win a terrific game here at Nationals Park in Washington to even the series. They win it in 10 by a score of 7-6.
What a finish, Ricky.
Great finish. So many good moments. Nathan Church, a big home run late. J.J. Weatherholt, a big hit with 2 outs in the top of the 10th.
And Jordan Walker hit another home run. The Cardinals go for the series win behind Michael McGreevy against Miles Michaelis today, and we're on the air at 2:10 after a 7-6 10-inning win last night.
Let's go to the manager's office. Chip Carey with Ollie Marmol.
That's a good one. That's a good there's a lot going on in that game. And we had guys down, so we knew we were going to have to finish and give some opportunity to other guys to come in there and do their job. But it was a lot going on. Church to 2-run homer there. Walker hits another one. Saggy being able to drive in and switch places there with that double and the 10. I mean, just a lot of positives from that game. Soriano to go back out for that second inning and do what he did, man. His stuff was electric. Good changeup, good slider, fastball, definitely plays. So overall, that's a heck of a win.
You talk about the relentless nature of your young team. I think it was evident in all facets of the game tonight. They get down, they don't panic, and they just play with youthful abandon.
Yeah, they're committed to it. If there's one thing we're going to do, it's going to be that. They're not going to give in. They're going to play hard regardless of score situation, man. And I'm proud of these dudes for continuing to do that. And you lose a game like yesterday, and to come back and have energy and to come back again is just, man, it says a lot about the group. So definitely proud of it.
JJ, first pitch swing, rocket shot in extra innings. Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big swing. We needed to add on there, and he comes through with 2 outs. But that's different guys stepping up, man. So I'm just, yeah, that's a really good one.
And Riley O'Brien nailed it down for you.
Yeah, hit the first guy, then settled in and did his job. 2 punch outs there. This is a group across the way, man. They take some pretty good at bats. They put it in play. They do a nice job. But we took advantage of some walks today, and we were able to come up with big hits when needed.
Cards get the win. 3:05 start today on KMOX. Blues lost 3-1 to the Avalanche at Enterprise Center. St. Louis 6 points out of a playoff spot with 5 games to go. The Battlehawks lost to the Dallas Renegades on the road, 31-15. I'm Tom Ackerman, Ins and Outs, sponsored by Innsbrook Resort, where every day is the weekend, and Innsbrook would be a fantastic place today. In fact, boy, could I sneak over there today? I don't know if I have time to do that, but I would this weekend if I could. Innsbrook, I'd do it today. I'd do it right now. Innsbrook, go fishing over there, play golf over there, take a hike, go to one of the places where you can grab a drink or bite to eat. I mean, it's just awesome. You go through the gates at Innsbrook and you are welcomed into a resort right here in the St. Louis area. And if you haven't been, the odds are you know someone who has. And if they're like me, they are talking about it and raving about it to their friends. It used to be like a well-kept secret. But over 50 years now, everybody seems to know about Innsbruck. People are coming in from all over the Midwest to go to Innsbruck. Innsbruck-resort.com if you want to check it out yourself. We should be proud of this. St. Louis has its own resort, and it's just on the outside of St. Louis in Wright City, right off I-70. It's Innsbruck. Innsbruck-resort.com.
Hey, Missouri, it's game time. Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sports book at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circusports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circus Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Get ready to laugh out loud, St. Louis. The outrageous Broadway hit Spam-A-Lot is riding into the fabulous Fox Theater May 5th through the 17th. From the twisted minds of Monty Python, this Tony Award-winning musical brings you killer rabbits, dancing knights, and non-stop hilarity. It's the legend of King Arthur like you've never seen it before. More information can be found at KMOX.com/events.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Let's get you updated on the roadways at 751. Roger Branson, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we've got slow traffic, Debbie, on eastbound 370 west of 94 to the Discovery Bridge. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, Highway Z into 64, A in toward Lake St. Louis Boulevard around Bryan Road, K to TR Hughes, and east of 94 into 270. That's all just slow. Southbound 61 slow south of P onto 64 at Lake St. Louis Boulevard from Boone's Crossing past Clarkson and east of Lindbergh through the Interbelt. Westbound 64 Hampton to Hanley, Clayton, Warson out to 270 slow. South 170 south of Page down to 64 is busy. South 270 Dorset to 364, and then Olive to Ladue. A couple of slow stretches. North 270 though, pretty much 55 all the way to the Ladue. You've got delays. 44, 141 to Mraz is busy. Kind of heavy east of Elm to Laclede Station around the bend, east of Southwest Avenue. Northbound 55, just a little busy. 141 to the Merrimack, but backed up from the Union Road overpass all the way up to River des Peres, still slow up through Holly Hills. And westbound 64, 50 through 159, approaching 157, and from the 70 split, busy again across the Poplar. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg says a beautiful day today. Sun with clouds, breezy, warmer, high 78. Tonight, partly cloudy, breezy, low 59. Tomorrow, sun and clouds, breezy and warm again in the afternoon with a high of 82. Might get a couple of showers and maybe even a thunderstorm on Friday with a high of 67. We haven't warmed up just yet. It's cloudy and a little bit of blue sky we can see to the west of us in downtown St. Louis. It's 47 degrees.
The news continues at 7:52. After the audit into the Arnold Transportation Development District, the mayor is pushing back that audit, accusing the city of Arnold of using the district as a means to improperly expand their commercial real estate. But Mayor Bill Mortiz tells KMOX they reject that accusation.
Just because something wasn't done recently, that doesn't mean that we don't want to do this. These are projects that are still on the books, and we have to wait for one to get done so we can go do some more.
He says they will be releasing all their documents related to the TDD on their city website, and they'll discuss it at the next city council meeting.
If you're getting a tax refund this year, do you have a plan for what you'll do with it? Ashley Laws, Region Executive for Consumer Investments at Bank of America, says you need to think about your financial goals before you spend it.
Do you have strong financial foundations, or is that the first area you want to focus on before you think about what do you want to accomplish in the future? So you want to ask yourself the question of, do I have enough savings to cover an emergency?
Laws says you might also want to pay down debt to get on better financial footing.
Illinois Governor Pritzker and corn farmers are lobbying Washington to grant a permanent waiver for gas stations to sell an E15 blend of fuel year-round.
Gas Buddy Vice President Patrick Dahan tells KMOX there's been a federal technicality standing in the way of going from a 10% ethanol product to 15%.
Price is now up 93 cents a gallon from last year.
this is a common sense solution that may offer consumers a slightly cheaper option.
Dehan says E15 generally sells for a dime or two less than regular unleaded. Those on the Illinois side of the Mississippi are paying an average of $4.30 per gallon of regular unleaded, while the Missouri side has an average price 40 cents cheaper. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
A Cook County judge could soon decide whether Illinois' cannabis dispensary licensing system was rigged from the start.
Back in 2021, Illinois held a lottery to award cannabis dispensary licenses here in Chicago. One company is now in court arguing the lottery was stacked, claiming roughly half the entries shouldn't have been allowed in.
All we asking for is a fair shot.
Otis Davis is with Wellbeing Holistic Group, and he says the state failed to flag financial ties between applicants, meaning connected businesses may have entered the lottery multiple times under different names, cutting the odds for everyone else. Last week, a Cook County judge heard the final argument. Two businesses previously hidden in court filings were named in open court, Dispensary 33 and Justice Grown. Attorney Chris Carmichael with Henderson and Parks had this to say about the lottery.
No group was supposed to be able to get more than 47 balls in that lottery. There were two teams that went under a bunch of aliases, basically, and they submitted over 400 between the two teams, way over the 47 limit.
A written ruling is expected May 21st. Glenn Marshall, News Radio 105.9 WBBN.
Webster Groves launching its No Mow April initiative that calls for homeowners to not mow their lawns this month to allow season pollinators like bees to have more access to wildflowers. According to the Webster Groves Parks and Recreation District, the city requirement for cut lawns has been lifted by the mayor and the city council. So during the month of April, Webster Groves homeowners can let their lawns grow above the normal 10-inch maximum.
It's 7:56.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Pump up the volume. Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Dream big and save big on your next backyard project at Menards. Whether you're shopping for edgers, pavers, or wall blocks, Menards has the largest in-stock selection of concrete landscape block ready to take home today. Build a beautiful border for your landscape with our Crescent Edgers on sale now through April 12th. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Let's check in with Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we're still slow on northbound 270 from 55 all the way up to Ladue, but south 270 is just slow olive down to Ladue. Southbound 61 from south of Peon to 64 to Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Still busy. A couple of pockets from Boone's Crossing out of the valley. And the primary delay, McKnight to Big Bend. South 170 Page down to 64 heavy. Westbound 64 Hampton out through Hanley's pretty slow as well. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Wednesday, April the 8th, and these are the stories and the news in the 8 o'clock hour.
Will it give your kid an edge in life if you hold them back a year from kindergarten? This is Megan Lynch. I'll have more on the latest research about kindergarten redshirting after the news.
I'm Tom Ackerman. Advance tickets for the LA 28 Olympics are on sale. Sports fans are having sticker shock over the prices and fees.
The Department of Justice joining a lawsuit against the organization that governs high school sports in Missouri. KMOX legal analyst Brad Young has more.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. A mix of sun and clouds today, breezy and much warmer this afternoon, high 78.
I'll be back for the Gas House Gang at noon with Chris Ranji. We got to toast somebody. The Budweiser toast. That's on the way.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is explaining what would have happened without the U.S. and Iran's newly agreed to 2-week ceasefire.
Had Iran refused our terms, the next targets would have been their power plants, their bridges, and oil and energy infrastructure. Targets they could not defend.
The deal's top goal, reopening the Strait of Hormuz. Correspondent Nancy Cordes is at the White House.
Now that a ceasefire is in place, we move to the hard part, hammering out a long-term peace agreement that addresses Iran's nuclear plans, its funding of terrorism, and so on. And Iran has its own demands, including a new $2 million fee for ships to pass through the strait.
Energy and futures markets are responding to the ceasefire. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
If the ceasefire does not hold, all of this could turn around in moments. But for now, investors are
Administration is keeping former DHS Secretary Kristi Noem's jet.
Noem leased the $70 million plane, which features a kitchen, showers, 4 large TVs, a bar, and a queen-size bed. Noem was asked about the plane during her testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee last month.
Department of Homeland Security to have a plane.
Luxury jet with a bedroom in it?
Yeah, we used a 737. I've been on it once, but
The Wall Street Journal has learned the White House has taken the plane away from the Department of Homeland Security. It will now be used by cabinet secretaries and the First Lady. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Her nickname's the Ketamine Queen. The one who sold actor Matthew Perry the drugs that killed him is set for sentencing in L.A. today. Former federal prosecutor Lori Levinson.
Prosecutors want to make an example out of her. This is a dangerous practice. And the prosecution wants to send a message that providing ketamine can lead to deaths, as it did in Matthew Perry's case and another victim as well.
Tapped out on tipping? Pop Menu's new survey finds a lot of us are. The tech company's Jennifer Grass.
The areas impacted by tipping fatigue the most, where consumers say that they're cutting back, are restaurants, grocery delivery, hotels, ride services, hair salons, and barbers. But it's really across the board.
78% say the number of places with tipping prompts has become ridiculous. 44% say they're tipping less this year than last. This is CBS News.
What is going on?
What's going on here? How is this possible? Great storytelling starts here.
Oh, come on.
Why? It's time for 60 Minutes.
At 8:03, we have partly sunny skies, 47 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Wednesday, April 8th. I'm Megan Lynch. While voter turnout for the general municipal election in the city of St. Louis was very low yesterday, the city's earnings tax, Proposition E, passed with 86% of the vote. Only 29% of voters said no to extending the 1% earnings tax. Only 1,693 people showed up to vote. All 4 Festus City Council incumbents defeated in yesterday's municipal election. 3 of the 4 council members voted yes in March when the council approved a Festus data center plan. Our partners at Fox 2 report the voter turnout in Festus higher than other places in Jefferson County. Some voters think that data center approval may have been the motivation behind much of the turnout, since a large number of residents voiced their concerns during last month's council meetings. The election still needs to be certified before the results are official. Last week's condemned apartment complex raid left many of its tenants homeless. The St. Louis police raid from last Thursday resulted in 63 summons, 13 arrests, and dozens of guns being confiscated. Police also closed the complex permanently, calling it a crime hub. Our partners at Fox 2 report the tenants now have nowhere to go, some saying they were never notified the complex was condemned. According to a city spokesperson, notices were posted on February 10th while officers made face-to-face contact. The rift between the St. Louis County Council and executive reaching levels that residents appear to be taking the brunt of. Sam Page says the council is not funding departments and jobs, which means layoffs.
Executive Director Sam Page says the council's budget coordinator admits that he made many mistakes.
These areas include double counting some of the personnel cuts in the personnel positions in the Department of Revenue, failing to account for salary adjustments under the Fair Service Payment Plan that the County Council approved last year for county employees, and also making financial assumptions about the county budget without taking into account the final spending in the fourth quarter of last year.
When KMOX asked Councilman Dennis Hancock, who is running for county executive incidentally, why 24 jobs were cut from the Department of Revenue, he says they were only temporary jobs from the start and were not refilled last December. In light of that, Page is signaling his next move are layoffs. But as you might expect, the council does not admit the problem was on their end. Councilman Mark Harder.
This year, the council, for the first time after being lied to and misguided by the budget process, has taken the lead on the implementation of a new annual budget that is focused on living within our means and weeding out our past inefficiencies and mismanagement of the budget process.
The council accepts no blame and puts it squarely on Executive Page. Regardless who is or was at fault, this back and forth is making county residents the victims, whether it's not getting their property tax freeze applications processed by the deadline or taxes refunded. They are the ones taking the brunt of the county's dysfunction. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
It's now 8:06. There are new wastewater findings regarding likely viruses on the upswing in the eastern part of Missouri. KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer reports.
The Grand Glaze wastewater treatment plant in Valley Park is currently testing for 3 viruses being seen in the St. Louis area. Kim Duke is the lab operations manager for MSD, which is overseeing the work at Grand Glaze. Per instructions from the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services.
Right now, the state is asking us to monitor 3 specific viruses: COVID, the flu virus A and B, and RSV.
The latest reported results show levels of influenza and COVID are very low in this area, but RSV levels are high across the region. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Webster Groves is launching a spring initiative called No Mow April. It calls for homeowners to not mow their lawns this month to allow seasoned pollinators like bees to have more access to wildflowers. According to the Webster Groves Parks and Recreation District, the city requirement for cut lawns has been lifted by Mayor Laura Arnold and the City Council. During the month of April, Webster Groves homeowners can let their lawns grow above the normal 10-inch maximum. From the KMOX business desk, St. Charles County looking to fill a number of vacancies in its 911 dispatchers at a job fair this morning. Officials say they have nearly a quarter of the budgeted positions open. The county also looking to fill positions in the jail and police department. The hiring event begins at 10 at the Missouri Job Center in St. Charles. Still ahead on Total Information AM, there is a long-standing theory that holding your kid back a year from kindergarten will give them an edge in life because they'll be the oldest in their class. We'll look at the research on kindergarten redshirting coming up. It's 8:08, traffic and weather in 2 minutes.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WEB-NOW-1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM, Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
8:10. Looks like we do still have some backups out there. Roger Brand has the latest on the roads from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, it's still slow going, Megan, on North 270 especially. You've got heavy traffic from pretty much Tesson Ferry all the way up to Ladue. South 270, those just Olive to Ladue. Southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway on to 64 to the Boulevard's heavy. A little slow at Clarkson and then Lindbergh into Big Bend. South 170, south of Olive down to 64, slower traffic now, so it's a little bit better than it was when it was back through Page, obviously. Westbound 64, Hampton out to Hanley's kind of busy. Eastbound 44, Bulls to Mraz, a little busy after that. There's not much in the way of slowdowns. Nothing really significant anyway. Northbound 55, Union Road overpass up across the river to Perry. You've got heavy traffic. Westbound 64, approaching 159 to 157, slow all the way through. But after that, just west of 3rd Street to the Poplar, the only other delay there. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A nice day today with a mix of sun and clouds. It'll become breezy and noticeably warmer. The high rebounds to 78. Partly cloudy and rather breezy tonight, though just 59. Sunshine and some clouds tomorrow. A warm breeze for the afternoon, high 82. Friday will be cloudy and cooler with a couple of showers. There might be a thunderstorm in spots as well. The high Friday, 67. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Currently, we have partly sunny skies, 47 degrees in Florissant, St. Peter's, and downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. It's long been thought that there's an advantage to holding a child back from kindergarten another year, especially if their birthday falls close to the enrollment cutoff. They become the oldest in their class, and the conventional thought is that this kindergarten redshirting, as it's sometimes called, gives them a boost in maturity and readiness for learning. A new study, though, challenges some of those assumptions. With me is the lead researcher, Megan Kufel, Director of Growth Modeling and Data Analytics with NWEA, the Northwest Evaluation Association. Megan, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thanks for having me.
What data did you look at for this?
So we use data from the MAP growth assessment. It's given in kindergarten in hundreds to thousands of schools across the country. And as a part of that, we know the age of the student when they enroll in school. So we were able to look and see whether or not the percentage of kids over time that were entering kind of on time based on their age cutoff, or doing that redshirting, waiting a year and entering a kindergarten for the first time at 6 at the age cutoff.
What were your core findings?
So we found that despite it feels like kind of there's been an increase in rhetoric about redshirting, it seems like more people are doing it. We found that on average over the last decade, it was about 5% of students being redshirted. White students and boys, as well as students in low poverty schools, were more likely to be redshirted. But even in those places, we're talking about 10% at most of students. So it's maybe not as common as many people think. And it didn't really go up in the last decade, with the one exception of the year of COVID, when many families in 2020 decided not to enroll their students on time and in kindergarten. So they entered in 2021. The more surprising thing I think that we found is that we did see an initial academic advantage in terms of the kids' math and reading skills when they entered kindergarten for these older redshirted kids, but it was gone by the end of third grade. So that advantage faded out. The kids who entered on time had completely caught back up to the redshirted kids by the end of third grade.
Overall, are there some pros for this for some families?
Yeah, I would say that some families, this may very well be the right choice, particularly if they feel their student is really not kind of emotionally or behaviorally mature enough. We only looked at academic advantages or disadvantages, so we can't speak to all the different kind of complex decision making. So of course, it's not to say that no one benefits from redshirting long term. We just found that overall, on average, the academic benefits weren't very long lasting. And there are some kind of additional costs in terms of both a family having to pay for an additional year of childcare, as well as some additional long-term risks that other studies have documented, including a higher rate of dropout in high school because these kids will turn 18 probably in their junior year, so they have more time to kind of make the decision for themselves to drop out, as well as potentially longer-term, lower lifetime earnings.
Describe the trajectory that you saw, for example, between kindergarten and third grade.
Yeah, so we see that both redshirters start out higher on average. So there's that gap in the beginning between the redshirters and the students who start on time. But basically what we see is in every single grade, the kids who started on time grow a little bit more. And so over time, that growth that gets a little bit closer and a little bit closer to the redshirters means that by the time that they in third grade, that extra growth has caught them completely back up to that higher starting trajectory for the redshirters.
When you do research like this, what other questions do you have that you maybe weren't able to incorporate in this specific project?
We always wonder kind of what the decision making process is for families. So we see about 5% of students are redshirting, but we imagine a lot of other families are thinking about it and then end up enrolling their kids on time. So we're always curious about kind of what factors families are just weighing as they make these trade-offs and decisions. We'd also love to be able to follow some of the kind of self-regulation and behavioral skills over time. That's often one of the big things that people think about and when they're making the choice to enter their kid is, would my child be able to be in a classroom and be ready for a more kind of structured environment than maybe their pre-K or preschool environments. We can't look at those behavioral and self-regulation skills, but that's something we imagine that there would be a pretty stark difference between a 6-year-old and a 5-year-old. And whether that difference maintains over time, we don't know.
So not just the academic skills, but really looking at some of those social skills that kids need in those early grades.
Yeah, especially now that academic or kindergarten is kind of more academic than it used to be. In prior decades, it maybe was more something closer to a kind of pre-K, get used to the environment space. Now it's more focused on academic skills. So that ability to kind of sit and regulate yourself and listen to teachers' instructions is probably more important for doing well in kindergarten than it was in prior decades.
So based on this, what would you tell parents about making a decision like this?
I think I would say, we kind of assume that this will come with long-term benefits, but the research doesn't really support that. So just really think closely about whether your kid would benefit, for other reasons besides just this wanting to give this a little bit of an extra academic push. Really think about what's best for your family and those kind of associated costs, and talk to the educators. If your child's in a pre-K environment or in, at the school that their child will be going to. I mean, those educators really know kind of what will be expected in terms of behavior and academics and can give really good advice about the fit with the child's current behaviors.
Great. Megan, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
That is Megan Kufeld with the NWEA. Still ahead on Total Information AM this hour. I saw an interesting story. They've released some of the advance tickets for the LA 28 Olympics, but sports fans are having some sticker shock over the prices and fees. One family I heard of had put aside about $2,000 hoping to get some tickets, didn't even cover it. Plus, some of the handling fees are incredible for these tickets. We're going to have more on that coming up next. And then a little bit later, we're going to get the latest on Iran. Of course, the U.S., Israel, and Iran have agreed to a 2-week ceasefire. There was a briefing from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth this morning. CBS News White House reporter Olivia Rinaldi will join us at 8:30 this morning. It's 8:19. Traffic coming up in 1 minute.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. Our St. Louis Baseball Cardinals reset last season. Now they're planning for the long term. Have you thought about a long-term plan for your family? A will, a trust, powers of attorney? Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano can guide you with a personalized estate plan. Sign up for our free webinar on our website, yourestateMatters.com. Learn more about estate planning, get some answers, list your questions, then schedule a consultation. You can plan for your family, your favorite charities, taxes, your long-term care, and even your pets now, before the courts do it for you later. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
8:20. Let's see how things are rolling on the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we're still slow on 270. This traffic reports a service of Artistic Decks. If you're on northbound 270, Gravois all the way to Ladue, slow. South 270 approaching Olive down to Ladue, that's still busy. Eastbound 70 from 64 to Highway A is a little slow, but after that, no big deal. Southbound 61 crossing over onto 64 to about Lake St. Louis Boulevard, still slow. East of Mason to 270, east of Lindbergh to Big Bend. South 170 bogs down at Brentwood. Westbound 64 Hampton to Hanley's heavy. If you're on eastbound 44, there's a little slowdown around the bend approaching Hampton in the city. Northbound 55, Bayless up to River to Pear, and then another slowdown 4500 Broadway up to Potomac. Westbound 64 backed up headed through 159, and then it's just slow across the Poplar. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Those temperatures continue to yo-yo this week. It looks like for today, we're going to have a mix of sun and clouds, breezy and warmer with a high of 78 degrees. Partly cloudy, breezy tonight with an overnight low of 59. Tomorrow, looks like we may hit a high around 82 degrees. It'll be breezy as well, sunny with a few clouds. Friday, cloudy and cooler. Couple showers, possibly a thunderstorm. We'll head back to a high of about 67. Then by Saturday, we bounce back up. A passing shower possible, a high of 76. And by Sunday, we're looking at a high near 80. Right now, partly sunny skies, 47 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
Ready to hit a home run with your backyard? Call Artistic Decks. We're celebrating 25 years of A-plus service with massive rollback pricing. Get a professional custom-built deck for less. Hit it out of the park with Artistic Decks. Call 314-280-0821 today.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WEB-NOW1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
You're back with Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. The 2028 LA Olympics is a ripoff. That's the complaint, as early access tickets just went on sale. A video from LA realtor Matt Tilley complaining about those sky-high ticket prices has gone viral.
I love you, America, but it was literally cheaper for me to fly LAX to London, London to Paris on the Eurotunnel, and buy tickets with my family to watch the Olympics in Paris than drive 10 minutes from my house in LA to watch the Olympics in Los Angeles. It's pretty crazy.
Our Odyssey sister station, KNX, spoke with Matt, who goes by the name The British Bloke online.
Usually when my posts go viral, there's a lot of hate on one side, a lot of people disagreeing, a lot of people agreeing. This is all, everyone's agreeing, which is very unusual. I went to the Paris Olympics 2 years ago and we had an amazing time and we thought, great, it's right on our doorstep, 2028. We'll sign up for the pre-tickets and we'll get on there and I'll book. To my amazement, the cost of the tickets was astronomical. For example, in Paris 2024, we went to the 100-meter final day. So that's really the main event, the men's 100-meter final. We got category B tickets and they were under $400. The same ticket right now in LA is going for $2,000 to $2,500. So yeah, buy 4 tickets at $2,000, you spend $8,000. We spent way less than that going to Paris.
Matt says it's literally a different world in Europe when it comes to soccer, for example.
Right now, there's Premier League clubs charging 60 or 70 pounds, which is under $100. And there is people protesting in the streets about a Premier League game being close to $100. If they saw ticket prices in America, they would lose their mind. So yeah, it looks like everything's about 5 times more expensive. Olympic tickets are about 5 times more expensive than Paris right now. And then the World Cup, I was looking to go to England, Ghana. It's a group game. The cheapest ticket in the stadium is $800. You want to take your kid, 2 tickets, say, $1,600 to go watch a game of football. And it's not even the final or the semi-final. It's a qualifying game. Plus you got to fly there.
He thinks there should be regulations so average fans can attend events like the World Cup and Olympics.
It is outrageous, and they're going to say, well, people are buying the tickets, supply and demand capitalism, but yes, it's price gouging. They're taking advantage. There's also fees on top of these tickets, right? So you're paying $2,000 for a ticket to go watch the athletics, and then there's a $100 fee, a $50 fee. So there's other people making money on people as well. And they're kind of preying on these people, I think, because they know they're going to pay it. Like my friend's kids really, really want to go to the Olympics. And he bought 4 tickets, by the way, $4,500 to go see women's soccer and women's gymnastics. 4 tickets to go see both. And it was $4,500.
That's the British bloke, Matt Tilley. Some people have told CBS News they paid a 24% service fee when they purchased advance tickets to some LA 28 events this week. It's now 8:26, still ahead on Total Information AM. Of course, a 2-week ceasefire now announced in the Iran war. We're going to get the latest at the bottom of the hour from CBS News White House reporter Olivia Rinaldi. And then coming up a little later this hour, the Department of Justice is joining a lawsuit against the organization that governs high school sports and other activities in Missouri. It's actually a private nonprofit. KMOX legal analyst Brad Young will have more and dissect that case for us. 8:27, this time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Tom Ackerman here. Well, they do it all the time. The Missouri Athletic Club holds the best banquets and award ceremonies, not only locally, but nationally. Locally, the Jack Buck Awards, the St. Louis Blues Hall of Fame ceremony, the St. Louis chapter of the Baseball Writers Association, the Baseball Writers Dinner, all of those types of events happen, but they also do national awards, the Herman Trophy, college soccer's top award for the men and women. And coming up this Monday, the Oscar Robertson Trophy and the USBWA Awards. College basketball's national award ceremony is here in St. Louis on Monday night, April 13th. And the top guest receiving the Dean Smith Award is Magic Johnson, who led Michigan State to the national championship in 1979, Hall of Famer with the Lakers. Magic Johnson, doesn't get much bigger than that, at the Missouri Athletic Club this Monday. That's the MAC for you. Visit us online, mac-stl.org.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Want to hear a shocking statistic? Medical malpractice is the third leading cause of death in America. Don't believe it? Google it. And that doesn't count serious injuries like birth injuries to perfectly healthy children. All doctors wear white jackets, but it doesn't make them all the same. Most medical errors are committed by the same quacks over and over again. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Many hospitals looking for more profits are forcing doctors and their groups to be employees of the hospital or be forced out of their system. It's a troubling trend in medicine. People make mistakes, but medical mistakes are huge and often forever. If you believe your child suffered a birth injury or a misdiagnosis or mistake led to a loved one's death or injury, let our team of medical malpractice lawyers examine your case for free. No recovery, no fee. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
8:30 and still a lot of slow going out there. Roger Brand has the latest on the roads from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Megan, it looks like we have trouble on 55 right now. This traffic reports a service of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Northbound 55 is heavy right at the Union Road overpass up through River to Pear, but then we're jammed approaching 4500 Broadway. It looks like the right lane of Potomac is blocked by an incident there. So our USPS ground advantage reliable route, you can take North 270 up to 44 and go east on 44 because eastbound 44 looks great. And North 270 is just kind of slow north of Gravois approaching that 44 area, not jammed, but North 270 remains heavy north of there all the way to Ladue. South 270, 364 down to Ladue is busy. Eastbound 64 from 70 to about Lake St. Louis Boulevard, slow. Mason into 270 and Lindbergh to 170. It jams, though, 170 in through Big Bend. It looks like we have a crash there. Westbound 64 Hampton out to Big Bend is backed up right now as well. And westbound 64 50 to 159 slow on the Illinois side. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, a mix of sun and clouds today, breezy, warmer, a high of 78. Partly cloudy, breezy tonight, an overnight low of 59. Right now, partly sunny skies, 47 degrees downtown at the Arch. Yesterday at this time, President Trump was threatening to end a civilization. Today, there's a 2-week ceasefire agreement with Iran. CBS News White House reporter Olivia Rinaldi joins me now. Olivia, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
What do we know so far about the terms of the ceasefire?
Well, we know there were intense negotiations happening yesterday after the president promised to annihilate the country of Iran if no deal was made. And it really centered around the Strait of Hormuz. The president says it is now clear and open for ships to transit through the strait, although this morning we have not quite seen an indication of that just yet. We also know that there is a 10-point peace proposal that Iran sent to the U.S. that the U.S. says is the basis for these negotiations, but a lot of what is in this proposal seems like a non-starter. One of the points in the proposal says that the U.S. has to vacate all bases in the region. I just don't see how something like that is possible and going to happen. But still, it appears there is a fragile ceasefire in place. That is what the vice president is calling it at this point, a fragile ceasefire. Now, he has emerged as a key negotiator in all of this. He actually is over in Hungary right now with the Prime Minister, Viktor Orban, because they're having elections coming up soon. But he emerged as one of the key people in all of this. We're told perhaps the next phase of these negotiations will take place on Friday in Islamabad, Pakistan. Pakistan really worked as the intermediary between the U.S. and Iran to get an end to this war. But right now, We're in a 2-week ceasefire. The hope is that the Strait of Hormuz will reopen so that people can and commerce can flow through there. But everyone right now is still has their hackles raised, is still on standby, although seems to be breathing a sigh of relief a little bit this morning.
You mentioned that 10-point plan out of Tehran. Any discussion yet of what happens to uranium stockpiles?
Well, the president this morning suggested on Truth Social that the U.S. would actually go into Iran and take out that nuclear dust. That is the enriched uranium that is still inside of Iran right now. He says that Iran will help the U.S. to do this. It is not clear whether or not that was part of the discussions, if this was part of the immediate ceasefire proposal. But the president has said over and over that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. That has been his North Star really in all of this. So the next phase would seem to be centered upon making sure the U.S. can extract that uranium, because once that is extracted, Iran really goes back to home base, to the starting point in their ability to get a nuclear weapon, which would now take them, by some estimates, years, perhaps decades. So once that is done, that really changes the entire equation here. But again, I'd be hard-pressed to see the Iranians totally capitulate and agree to that at this moment.
That's CBS News White House reporter Olivia Rinaldi. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Your Money Report coming up next.
I never thought of myself as the type to settle down. Never knew where the team's next lunch was coming from. But then I met you, Easy Cater.
Workplaces everywhere are saying, I do want delicious food at work. And they're ordering from beloved restaurants with Easy Cater.
You were reliable. You had great options for every budget, even when marketing ops did keto again. We got through that together. With you, it's just so easy. Easy Cater, will you keep showing up at my workplace forever?
Find love at first lunch. Order at easycater.com.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Your Money Report now, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Matt Piper.
A relief rally is sweeping through global markets, lifting stocks and sparking the biggest drop in oil prices in almost 6 years. Delta is predicting it'll cost $2 billion to pay for fuel in its planes through at least June due to the Iran war. The carrier is sticking to its previous full-year profit forecast due to uncertainty. It joined other airlines just yesterday in raising bag fees too to help offset rising costs. American Girl is this week bringing back its original character dolls to celebrate its 40th anniversary. The original collection includes dolls Josephina, Kristen, Addie, Samantha, Molly, and Felicity. Each doll retails for $175 and includes her signature outfit, a book, and packaging inspired by the original design. American Girl dates back to 1986. And Buffalo Wild Wings brings back bottomless apps for $9.99. Matt Piper, Bloomberg Radio.
It's Tom Ackerman. I've been friends with Jim Brennan, the president of McKelvey Homes, for a long time. Love playing golf with him. Love hanging out and talking sports with him. And he knows homes, that's for sure. The president of McKelvey Homes. He has been around for a while, and so has the company. They've been around since 1898. That's the year they were founded. And this community is really something special. When Jim tells me the best places to eat, I listen to that as well. And he says that you can walk or take a golf cart to downtown Cottleville from Cottleville Trails for dinner or lunch at Menino's Market. Jim says it's his favorite sandwich shop now, and knowing him, that means a lot. Cottleville Trails from McKelvey Homes, a neighborhood where you actually know your neighbors. Visit McKelveyHomes.com to see what I'm talking about, and visit McKelveyHomes.com for all of the home sites and communities that McKelvey builds in. They are all over the St. Louis area. Move up to McKelvey, McKelveyHomes.com.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs' attorneys. And for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-all-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertising. The spring cleaning rush at Zero Res. This week's flash sale, $50 per room of carpet clean for unlimited rooms and whole system air duct cleaning for just $599. Visit ZeroResSTL.com to book your appointment. That's ZeroResSTL.com.
Calling all runners. Register now for the Cardinals 5K on Saturday, April 18th, and you can take a victory lap on the field at Busch Stadium. Don't miss this chance to bring the whole family for a fun St. Louis 5K race that brings fans together to support kids in the community. The Cardinals 5K, Saturday, April 18th. Register now at cardinals.com/5K. And for more information, just head to KMOX.com/events.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. An Oklahoma high school principal tackled a gunman in his school yesterday. Police say the 20-year-old gunman, a former student, had just walked into Pauls Valley High School. When Principal Kirk Moore jumped him, Moore was shot in the leg. No one else injured. A study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that optimistic people have a 15% lower risk of developing dementia. And travelers will soon face restrictions on how many portable chargers they can carry on a flight. Airlines continue to try to reduce the risk of another lithium battery fire aboard their jets. Southwest Airlines announced Tuesday, starting April 20th, passengers will only be able to carry one charger on their planes. We had some problems pop up on northbound 55. Let's get the latest on that from Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, and thanks to our partners at Fox 2, Megan, I was able to see the crash. It's on the Potomac exit. It looks like the exit's closed, but a bad crash there. So the right lane's closed approaching Potomac. That's why northbound 55, not a jam like it was, but it's still heavy back at about 4500 Broadway. And then there's a crash they are just clearing. That looks like has been cleared. Eastbound 64 just before Big Bend. Eastbound 64 is jammed east of Lindbergh up to that incident. Westbound 64, Hampton to Big Bend, still heavy. South 170, the Parkway to 64 is slow. North 270, still pretty busy. North of Gravois all the way to Ladue. South 270, south of Olive to Ladue, the only delay at that point. And westbound 70, a little busy west of Jennings Station as well. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking that forecast for today, it looks like we're going to have a mix of sun and clouds. It's going to be breezy and warmer with a high of 78. Partly cloudy, breezy tonight, a low of 59. Partly sunny now, 47 downtown at the Arch.
Brought to you by USPS Ground Advantage.
Business moves fast. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Thanks for listening to Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. The Missouri Senate has passed a bill that targets baseless lawsuits. So let's find out more from our legal analyst, Brad Young. He's a partner at Harris, Young & Kaiser and joins us every week at this time on Total Information AM. Good morning, Brad.
Good morning, Megan.
It's been quite a while since I've heard about SLAPP suits. What are they?
SLAPP suits are, in essence, anti-free speech suits. So, for example, if a municipality would decide that they don't like it, that there's someone speaking out at a city council meeting, then the city council could vote to sue the individual to stop them from speaking out against the municipality. Several years ago, there were a lot of these types of lawsuits, particularly in Creve Coeur, and there was a lot of litigation going back and forth over individuals speaking out at city council meetings or speaking out against municipalities. So in order to put a stop to these lawsuits, which in essence are against free speech, the Missouri legislature is pushing for these what's called anti-SLAPP legislation, which would in essence allow judges to dismiss these types of cases more quickly than before, because in these situations, Megan, it's a problem. If you've got a municipality, they're going to have attorneys, they're going to have more money than individuals, more access to resources. And so in order to minimize the potential to squelch free speech, the legislature wants to allow these cases to be dismissed more quickly.
Under this legislation, what would a judge consider then in having a quicker dismissal of a case like this?
The judge would be empowered to decide what's the primary focus, what's the primary purpose of the initial lawsuit. Is it to squelch free speech, or is it to address other issues? And that's really a broader area of consideration than what judges currently have. So this would just really expedite that process of getting cases dismissed. So when we're dealing with SLAPP lawsuits, the individuals who are the defendants against the municipalities or cities, they would be able to get these dismissed more quickly, and it would not cost them as much for legal fees and assorted costs.
I think an interesting part of this legislation is the fee shifting provision. How would that work?
Well, if you prevail in this type of litigation, you could actually recoup some attorney's fees. So consider in the American system, the parties are all left to deal with their own costs. But this would allow, under state law, it would allow a defendant who prevails in this type of litigation to potentially recoup their attorney's fees and expenses, again, balancing out this idea that big cities or municipalities have more resources than individuals.
Now, do you think this will really stop people from filing meritless lawsuits?
I don't. Not until we see whether or not this type of legislation really has teeth. Because in the legal industry, it's a fun thing to say that getting a judgment is one thing, collecting it is another. And the idea here is that until there is an application of this statute to these SLAPP lawsuits, I don't think that municipalities are really going to change their behavior until the money becomes real.
Let's talk about our next situation. The U.S. Justice Department is getting involved in a state lawsuit by our Attorney General against a governing body for high school sports and activities. The suit alleges discrimination for denying a board position to a white man. Can you explain what's happening in this case?
Sure. This is what's called MSHA. MSHA is the Missouri, it's actually a private organization, but it's the Missouri State High School Activities Association. It's a private nonprofit that oversees all of the athletics in high school sports across the state. And their board that controls MSHA, there is in their bylaws a rule that says that a certain number of seats on the board has to be reserved for people who are unrepresented or underrepresented either by race or by gender. And so a principal who is a white male said that he was blocked from running for one of those at-large seats because the slot was reserved for these underrepresented candidates. So the real issue, and the Supreme Court has been very clear over the last 15 years or so, that discriminating on the basis of race or sex means what it says. It does not just go in one direction. And so the real issue here, though, Megan, and this is what I find interesting, this is a private organization. We know that the Bill of Rights and and even particularly the 14th Amendment and others do not apply to private organizations. So the question's going to be, is MSHA a state actor or is it a private organization? And that will literally control everything that the court then does in terms of this lawsuit.
Because of what they do have very close ties with entities that are publicly funded. So is that the argument here by the Attorney General and the DOJ?
It is. And in fact, if you look at a Supreme Court precedent, about 25 years ago, the Supreme Court dealt with this pretty much the exact same situation arising out of Tennessee. And the Supreme Court held that if you've got a private organization, much like MSHA, that yet oversees and regulates public schools, then for purposes of applying constitutional principles, it is a state actor. So that's what a judge is going to have to find here if the plaintiff is going to prevail in terms of challenging this idea of a quota system or seats that are set aside for specific genders or races.
Brad, thank you so much. Always good to talk to you.
My pleasure.
That is KMOX legal analyst Brad Young, partner at Harris, Young, and Kaiser. And again, he's our weekly guest here on Total Information AM. Coming up next on the show, a fun and interesting way to learn about St. Louis history, from architecture to tours of neighborhoods all over the region. Debbie Monterrey is going to tell us more about CSTL tours.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch, and here's Debbie Monterrey.
St. Louis has such amazing history, and even if you're a lifelong St. Louisan, I guarantee there are stories you don't know. Thankfully, we have the Missouri Historical Society. Amanda Clark is joining me, and she heads up the CSTL tours. Those are both walking tours and bus tours as well, right?
They are. We are every weekend of the year. We are somewhere in St. Louis walking or riding around talking about St. Louis history.
So if you don't feel like walking, I know some people are not able to walk a couple of miles on a tour. There is a bus, and I'm sure those tours are different, right?
Yeah, they're very different. So our bus tours are now called the Great Big Architecture Tours. We offer, I think it's 5 of them a year. They are 5 hours long with a lunch break in the middle, and they just go hard on St. Louis architecture, different themes. So one was all about just architecture. We've got one coming up about sacred spaces and churches. So if you've ever wanted to go in all the big churches, we got you covered there. And then later we'll be talking about suburbia and the architecture of death. So we've got a lot of different topics throughout the year.
Interesting. Okay, let's talk about some of those walking tours, because I took one, 4 or 5 years ago in the Ville. And it was fascinating. Taking a walk through it with somebody who knows what they're talking about is pretty amazing.
Yeah. So we do walking tours of, specific topics throughout the city, and like downtown, just general history and architecture, for example. But we also do, very specific neighborhood-based tours, like in Dogtown, the Hill, Old North. For the Ville neighborhood, though, we have a really special partnership with For the Ville, which is a really dynamic organization working on cultural tourism in North St. Louis. And we partner with them, and they actually provide those tours.
Can you give us another example of some, aside from the Ville and downtown, some of the other neighborhoods or areas that are covered?
Yeah, so we do Soulard, both Soulard North, which is the market, and Soulard South, which is closer to the brewery. We do Cherokee Street tours, which we have one coming up that's going to be led by Randy Vines, one of the owners of STL Style House. We do a Tower Grove South walking tour, which a lot of people don't know that we have. It's half park and half neighborhood, Central West End. We actually offer 40 different tours, so it would be a while if I listed them all.
And are those all in the city, or like the bus tour, have they moved out to the suburbs?
So we have 2 in the county. We have Webster Groves and Kirkwood that we do walking tours of. And we, as best we can, we partner the tour guide. So we have over 20 tour guides, and we, as best we can, make sure the tour guide is from that neighborhood and can speak for it, like the Webster Groves tour. I am the tour guide. But whenever we can't do that, we partner with neighborhood organizations to make sure we are representing them as they want to be represented.
And these CSTL tours we're talking about are through the Missouri Historical Society, the Missouri History Museum. And I'm pointing that out only because sometimes when you're online, I'll come across a walking tour or a history tour, and it is not the History Museum or the Historical Society.
Yeah.
And they seem kind of expensive. So what's going on?
Yeah. So without going too deep into the tour world, there are a lot of out of town companies that go to cities, and they kind of poach tour guide type stuff. There is one right now that has miraculously shown up with the name of Sea Sight Tours. So very similar to our name. They do charge about $170 to walk around downtown. We will take you around downtown for $22.
A much
and
better
you will be with a
price.
local. Yeah.
What's the best place to go to get a list of all of the different tours and the times and dates and stuff?
Yeah, you can go to mohistory.org and look for the tours there. I tell people, though, the best way to do is Google Missouri Historical Society tours. You'll get there.
What if I have a big group coming in town? I'm doing a reunion or part of a company that's bringing a bunch of people in. Can people put their own tour together through you?
Absolutely. That is actually the majority of what we do, are private tours. We have groups of 2. We had a couple 2 weeks ago, a couple from out of town that came in, and they did 6 tours with us over 3 days.
Wow.
They just did their whole trip was tours with us.
Good for them.
Or we do next week, I've got 2 charter buses of band students from Ohio that we're going to take all throughout St. Louis. So any group size, any interest, we can customize easily for the same price as a public tour.
Excellent. With a CSTL tour through the Missouri Historical Society, Amanda Clark, thanks so much for the information.
Thanks so much for having me.
Menopause warning. I'm Fred Bottomer with 60 Seconds to Better Health. Older women are being bombarded with ads for products that imply they ease the symptoms of menopause. The AP's Jennifer King tells us about that.
Dietary supplements, lotions, special jewelry, and gadgets promise rejuvenation and relief, but medical experts warn be wary of the surge in marketing.
I don't like the way it makes me feel.
Brandy Magruder, a librarian in Dallas, says she's not thrilled about her symptoms or the online ads.
It comes in my algorithm, and so I kind of don't want to see it, and so I hear it and scroll up.
Physicians say that before spending lots of money on products that make big promises, it's important for women to talk to their doctors about what has actually been proven to help and what could be harmful.
I feel like once you try one, then all the ads keep coming.
Dr. Melissa Muscar studies dermatology and obstetrics gynecology at UT Southwestern Medical Center.
A lot of new fancy things coming out and targeted to perimenopause, menopause patients, but sometimes the tried and true things that we at least have the science for, I think still are my kind of gold standard for my patients.
With 60 Seconds to Better Health, I'm Fred Bottomer.
Coming up tomorrow on Total Information AM, John Shaw. He's a frequent guest here on KMOX. He's the director of the Paul Simon Public Policy Institute. Of course, as you've been hearing this morning, there's now a 2-week ceasefire in the Iran war. He's an expert on diplomacy and statesmanship. We're going to talk to him about what needs to happen over the next couple of weeks and the Pakistani role as a mediator in this conflict. That's tomorrow morning, coming up at 8:41 here on KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health.